video, I'm going to be taking you through exactly how you can start a social media marketing agency in 2024 completely for free, step by step. This free program will teach you the fundamentals on how to start, grow, and then scale your agency. Now, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme or something that you can skip through and expect results. This takes time, dedication, but if you follow the steps inside this program, I know you will be successful. I wanted to address something that I'm seeing a lot on YouTube, and that's different people say SMMA is dead, lead generation is dead, and you should become a growth creator or growth partner. It's the exact same thing. You're still starting an agency no matter who you service. It's still a marketing agency. But just because you change the offer doesn't mean it's something completely different. I actually released a free course about a year ago, but I thought it was time to update it because a lot has changed since then. I want this program to be your Bible. If you need help or if you need assistance, please reach out to me on Instagram. It is in the description, or feel free to book a strategy call. You should never feel alone because I'm telling you right now, the only way you can fail with this is by giving up. If you show up and put in the time and the effort on the tasks that will propel your business and work on what is fundamentally important, then you will be successful. Use every resource available to you. Join my free Facebook group, book in a call, ask questions, network, and learn. If you have the answer to something, then share it. So here's what we're going to cover. This free course is going to be broken up into a few different phases. Firstly, we have foundations, which is everything from what is a marketing agency, figuring out your niche, service, offer creation, market research, and more. The next phase is building the systems and processes you will need, such as contracts, how to onboard clients, how to set up some softwares, and what tools that you need. Phase 3 is all about outreach and setting appointments, from qualifying leads, sending cold emails, Looms, cold calling, and I'm going to be giving you all the scripts and templates that I have used before. Phase 4 will be all about sales and the sales process, and phase 5 will be about getting results and service delivery. What it takes to become a great advertiser, lead generation for different industries, and even paid ads for your own agency. Some of you who watch this will be complete beginners, and others may already have 1 or 2 clients. No matter where you are, this training will help you get to 10, 15, or even 20K per month. And when you get there, I can't explain the feeling that you'll have. The reason I love this business is your income is directly related to how hard you work. If you only put in an hour or 2 a day, how do you expect to get the same results as someone who puts in 6, 7, 8, or even 9? You can't. Like I said, it took me 8 months of brute force to get my first client. Whether it takes you 1 week or 37 weeks, if you put in the work and keep going, you will be successful. You will go through days that you don't want to work, and you're probably going to be deflated at times, but it's what you choose to do on those days that matter. The only way you fail is if you give up. I'm sure many of you know about how I lost an insane amount of money at a young age because my agency fell apart at one stage. Yes, for 2 months I was upset and I didn't know what to do, but did I give up? No, because what other option do you have? Okay, you give up, and then what? Our life is incredibly short and we have one chance to do something with it. You can have anything that you want in life, and I think you believe that too. Otherwise, I doubt you would be watching this video today. Inside this free training, you're going to have everything that you need to be successful. I put this together because I never had something like this when I was starting. With that said, strap yourselves in, grab a notebook and a pen, and remember to watch this over and over, and let's get into it. So firstly, what is SMMA? SMMA stands for Social Media Marketing Agency, and it's a business that essentially helps other businesses increase their revenue and brand awareness through social media marketing. This could be anything through paid channels such as Facebook, Google, or YouTube, or posting organic content on social media platforms. This free training will only focus on paid ads to generate revenue because it's a direct ROI skill, and once you understand it, you'll never be broke again. This service could be anything from digital marketing, funnel creation, web design, lead generation, branding, copywriting, and the list goes on. With lead generation in particular, it is trackable, and you and your clients will see exactly how much you make them. Lead generation is an amazing way to make money, and the reason is it's relatively simple to understand. You're working with a service-based business to generate leads or booked calls or appointments for that business. You see a direct ROI or return on investment from month 1. This is really important. I mean, what other business is out there where I can say, hey, if you give me a few $1,000s, I'll give you a 50 or 100% return or more in month 1. It's insane. Hedge funds on average make 12% a year for clients, and we want to do that each week. Let that sink in for a minute. Of course, this can be a blessing and a curse because if we don't get them results, the chances of them staying with us are slim. Now, the agency model has extremely high profit margins, and on top of that, it's monthly recurring revenue. There's little operating costs besides a few softwares, which in the beginning you're not really going to need, and maybe as you grow, it's going to cost you $700 per month all up. The only other cost would be paid ads for yourself, and I'm going to cover that later on in this video. Something that you might not have heard before is you could have a lead generation agency with pages that you own, and you can sell your leads and the data to big organizations. I'm talking about $500 million plus companies that buy leads and resell them in bulk for a small margin. It's in volume. You just need to play the game. To me, that's owning digital real estate. That model is extremely simple. So for example, you're in the mortgage lending space and you've spoken to these large corporations, and look, there are a lot of them out there, and they tell you, hey, we actually buy leads and we pay $100 per qualified lead. Now, these companies will buy hundreds, if not thousands of leads, right? All you need to do is figure out a way how to generate leads for less than $100 and you keep the difference. You even have the ability to partner with businesses, implement this, install a sales process for them, and keep a percentage of the profit and actually become a partner in different companies. You see, you have the ability to get as creative as you like with the agency model. There is no one solution or one way to do it. The longer you're in business, the more money you make. If you're a doctor fresh out of university, do you think you're going to make the same as someone with 5 years more experience? No. Agencies are the same way. The longer you do this, the more experience you have, the more you can charge and the more creative you can get. When starting out though, sometimes you feel you need to provide every single service for every single client, and that's the wrong way to operate. When I started, this is exactly what I was doing. I'd say I'd help them with Instagram growth, ads, managing their social media accounts, website designs, content creation, and I'd also manually send invoices in a PDF document and send too many proposals to count. Clients will ask you, hey, do you do this and that and that? And you're going to be tempted to say yes, of course, but don't give in to that temptation because it will do you more harm than good. You just need to trust me on this. Your focus should be picking one niche and providing one service. That's it. Keep it simple. Businesses will pay you based on the value you provide and not the time that it takes. You have to remember this. As you gain more experience, you're going to be able to charge more. All you're doing is exchanging a service that in their mind is worth more than giving you the retainer that you charge. So firstly, a niche is basically just a section of the market. This could be specific local businesses like dentists, chiros, real estate agents, e-commerce businesses, or it can be a specific type of client. So you might ask, well, why should I niche down? Why do surgeons get paid more than regular doctors? Because they specialize in one field and that's what they know inside and out. If you're having issues with your heart, your regular GP will refer you to a cardiologist. And if you need surgery, you're going to see a cardiothoracic surgeon. Why? Because they've spent a better part of a decade becoming a specialist in this field. This is how you must approach your business, with a scalpel rather than a knife. Businesses prefer to work with agencies who specialize than generalize, for the exact same reason above. Let's say you have a mortgage broker. Would you rather work with an agency that just focuses on other mortgage brokers, or an agency that does gyms, restaurants, real estate, and e-commerce as well? Of course, they're going to choose the niche specific agency, and it's very common for business owners to ask this because it's a valid concern. So how do you pick one? Firstly, you can look at your past experience. Do you have some knowledge or expertise that you can leverage, or do you have a passion for a particular field? Now, if you don't have an interest in any niche or past experience, choose something that is already proven. There is a certain criteria that I look for when picking a niche, and I'm going to go through that now. So first, it has to be something with decent profit margins. You don't want something like a restaurant or cafe or something low ticket of even $100, because how can they make money? You want to make sure that their product or service is at least $300 to $500, or something where clients must come back often. Now, the next thing is they must have testimonials and results. You want to work with someone who has a good track record in their industry. You want to avoid someone just starting out. And that's also because they probably won't have the budget to hire you either. But mainly it's because they have the process dialed in. So you're not going to need to babysit them to make sure that they're doing their part. Thirdly, it must be in a growing market. You can have a great offer and be the best salesman in the world, but if you're going into a market that's shrinking, no matter how good you are, you just won't be able to make it work. So now I'm going to share some niches that you can choose, and if you want, you can pause the video, screenshot this because I'm going to carry on, but you can see that there's dozens of niches: real estate, med spas, chiros, solar, and so many more. Whichever niche that you choose, you really need to love it. To really scale and to succeed, I believe you need to become obsessed. Once you do and you get results, you're going to be able to identify every aspect that could be improved in their business and help fix it. Riches are in the niches. People scale to tens of millions of dollars per year in one niche, offering one service. Remember that. You can also think about sub-niches inside these niches as you go deeper. A lot of people keep the surface level, but you really want to niche down, and sometimes these broader niches, there are some incredible opportunities to go deep rather than wide. Now, the next thing is market research and offer creation. All right, so once we have your niche, you need to find out what the pains and problems are for most of these business owners. You may be saying, well, it's obvious. All businesses want more customers because that's what makes them money. And yes, you're right. However, we need to understand what's stopping them from achieving their goal of increasing their revenue and what they want solved. There are two reasons for this. Number one is for us to create an offer that the niche actually wants. If they don't want it, then no matter how hard you try to sell it, no matter how good of a salesman you are, you'll never sign clients. This is why when you're building any SaaS business or anything like that, you need a beta group of people to see if it's even something people find valuable. The second reason is by understanding your niche's biggest pains and struggles, why they're having those problems, you're going to come across as an expert in their field and gain a lot of respect. But most importantly, build rapport with prospects. So when it's time to pitch, you won't just be another marketing agency. You would have spent the time conducting your market research, understanding what they're struggling with on a personal level, and they're just going to trust you. Whether you run paid ads to get yourself leads or you do manual outreach, you'll know pretty quickly if what you're offering works or not because of how many people respond. You just need to adjust it and make those tweaks as you go. All right, so let's actually get into how to conduct market research and what the best ways are to approach this. Now, you need to think where your audience is: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, so on. What you want to do is speak to 20 to 50 business owners in that niche, and we just want to know what their biggest pain points are inside of their businesses, what they're struggling with, and what is their desired transformation. What are the issues keeping them up at night, and what do they want solved? So for real estate agents, they want help generating more leads that are exclusive to them, and they also want them to be qualified because that will then turn into commissions. So you see, it's not a lead problem for them. This is what you want to find out. And when you create your offer, you want to try to solve each point that they tell you about, or as many as you can. There are so many ways to do this. You can add people on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can cold call business owners. The truth is, there is no right way to do this. If you decide to use Facebook and LinkedIn, make sure your profile looks professional. And the rule here is not to message them before they accept your request. Once they've accepted your friend request, then you want to wait an additional 24 to 48 hours before sending a message. Now, if you message right away, chances are they're not going to reply because it's just so salesy. And personally, I unfriend people or even block them if they do this to me. You want to keep it very casual, and before asking questions, you want to just ask their permission if it's okay to do so. Simple things like, hey John, thanks for connecting or accepting my request. Do you mind if I ask a couple of questions about the industry? This applies for cold calling as well. Let them know who you are, what you're doing. Hey John, look, I'm just conducting some market research on the industry. Do you mind if I ask you a few quick questions? You want to keep it casual, straight to the point, and just come across like you're not selling anything. The reality is a lot of people will be more than happy to answer some questions and actually help you out. Some won't reply, but then again, it's just a numbers game. The more people you speak to, the more you realize there is a common theme and common issues that business owners faced. Don't overcomplicate this. There is no perfect formula here because you want it to sound natural. When I've done this, I've used Facebook DMs and also cold calling. If you're happy to pick up the phone, it will be the quickest way to get feedback because you can simply just go on Google and call them from the Google My Business section. If you're going after dentists or something, they will have receptionists, so this may not be the best idea because you'll never actually get through to the person that you want to speak to. So maybe you use LinkedIn. Other businesses, however, like real estate, trades, or Everything else, you can cold call them and just get through to the business owner right away. Look for mobile numbers, not landlines. And if you're doing real estate, you can simply go on realestate.com.au if you're in Australia, or if you're in the US, Zillow or realtor.com to call agents mobile directly. The biggest piece of advice here is it doesn't matter how you reach out to people. Just be casual and not salesy and contact as many as you need so you get at least 20 people's feedback. Once you've done this, then you'll be able to create your offer, and don't be afraid to reach back out to these people who replied and helped you to create this offer and offer them to be a beta client. Here are some questions that we want to know the answer to. All right, so terminology used, how they get clients/leads, how much they cost, why they use these services, what they like or dislike about this service, margins on each of their services, how many clients can they handle each month, what their average process and sales process or length is, what have they tried before, what do they need solved urgently. You also want to ask them about their customers and why their customers decided to work with them in the first place. This way you have the customer's pains and you'll be able to leverage that when it comes time to running ads. Your offer is the single most important piece of the puzzle when scaling to 6 or even 7 figures within your SMMA. If you can deliver on this offer, you'll never be broke again. If you have a winning offer, it will beat everything else. It will outperform having a good sales process, website, and even case studies. I would argue a good offer is all you need. So what does an irresistible offer include? It's result orientated. Specifics. After conducting your market research, you should know the outcome the client is looking for. If it's new clients, put a number on it. Focus on a specific person solving one problem. Stop being a generalist serving multiple niches and hone in on one avatar who is struggling with a specific problem. Secondly, it's got to be unique. Innovate and don't copy. Competition is fierce, so stand out. Time frame. Outcome in X amount of time. The sooner this can be achieved, the better results you will have. Guarantee. The delivery method you use to get results is not an offer. An offer is designed so the value dramatically outweighs the costs, leading the prospect to say yes. At the end of the sales call, it should be a simple yes or no decision. If you've qualified a prospect correctly, then every lead that you speak to will be a good fit for your agency and is an ideal client. When you're starting out, this can be Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, content. It really doesn't matter. Choose something that is high in demand and easiest to start. When I was starting my agency back in 2018, no one had an offer. Everyone was pitching, I'm going to run Facebook ads, and it didn't work. I mean, sure, I got clients, but it was extremely hard. They need something tangible. There is no saturated niche. The problem people come up against is everyone's offer is the same. It's like you go into any space now and it's like, I'm going to get you 10 or 20 new qualified leads each month or your money back. Cool story, the last 7 people has just told me the same thing. These business owners are still suffering from the same problem. So all you need to do is use your brain, think for yourself, and build an offer that someone isn't running. If there's a problem, there will always be a need for it to be solved. So to recap, the offer framework is simple. What is the outcome? Adding X additional revenue, X appointments, etc. Time frame, how long it will take to achieve this outcome. The method, how you're going to do this. Risk reversal, this is a guarantee or a way to make the prospect feel safe and not at risk if things go wrong. And then pricing. So I've spoken about this before and mentioned it because the sexy thing to do is SMMA, which is great, but it's not the only way. Let me explain. What is it that we have been doing so far in this training? What is it that I've been teaching you about this business? It's that all we're doing is solving a business's problem. We add value to a business by solving a pain or problem someone is having. That's it. What this means is you can get as creative as you want, and this is done in the market research phase. Maybe they need ghostwriters. Maybe they need someone to help train their sales team, or maybe an increased conversions. Maybe they need this specific task member and you can help them place that person inside their business. You could place closers into their businesses. You could also place VAs into agencies. You see, your offer is determined by what the niche really wants solved. Everyone is going after more customers. Maybe you focus on something else because that's not the only problem. Your offer can be anything that solves a problem. That's my point. You want it to be simple and remove as much friction and unnecessary fluff as possible. Focus on solving the pain by standing out and you'll get clients with ease. So the software and tools we use are an important part of the business. Now, I won't take you through the entire setup process, but I'm going to go through what you'll need to get started. The first one is Stripe. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have heard of it because it's the largest payment processor online, if not one of the largest. And the reason I love it is because it's very simple to use, easy to invoice clients, process payments, and take card details if you need. And the user experience is seamless. The other thing I like about it is it's easy to get in touch with support. If you request a call, they typically will call you within 5 minutes and help solve your issue. You'll also be able to set up auto billing, which saves you from manually charging your client each and every month. The downside is Stripe has banned accounts before for no good reason other than your business being high risk. This can happen when you're making 50 to 100K per month, and I've had issues with this personally. Now, the next payment processor is PayPal. I rarely use this. It's more of a last resort, but it's still something that you should set up. Similar issues can arise where they hold your money and it's difficult to get it back. But then again, it only happens when your business is doing pretty well because they're going to see you as high risk. The other reason I don't use this often is chargebacks. The great thing about Stripe is they're on the business owner's side and it's very, very easy to win disputes. However, PayPal favors the consumer, so you must be careful. I only process through PayPal if I trust the person and as a complete last resort. Wise is another payment processor and has access to about 20 countries. You will need to pay a one-off fee of around $20, but basically it's going to give you a bank account in the countries that you wish to receive payments in, and then you can just withdraw the money to your own personal bank account. This is a great way for people to pay, and I personally use it in case I'm having issues with Stripe. Next is Zoom. I have the paid version, but you can just sign up for the free version, and chances are you'll never need to upgrade. This is where you're going to host all of your calls, and it connects directly to your calendar. Now, the free version gives you a time limit of 40 minutes. This is great, but if you go over, the meeting will cut off. You do have a 10-minute warning, and if you haven't pitched at this point, I would start a new meeting because the worst thing that can happen is you don't get payment on that call. That's why I upgraded my plan so I don't have a timer on my calls. The next software is Loom. It's great to record and share something with someone. It is also great to send outreach to prospects. It can easily be downloaded as a Chrome extension. Free version has a 5-minute limit, whereas if you pay $10 per month, you have an unlimited time. The quality of recordings is also better and it gives you a few extra features too. The next one is Dropbox Sign. There are a lot of e-signature companies out there, but this is the one I personally use. I think you can send 3 contracts per month for free, which is enough to get you started. Super simple to use. You can upload your signature, upload the document, send it to the prospect. It takes a matter of seconds and they can simply sign it and it automatically sends back to you. Last but not least is Go High Level. I've been using this for a while and it's great. There is so much that you can use it for and actually can be overwhelming at times. It's an all-in-one software that can create landing pages, you have a CRM, you have automation, and it's the only software that you really do need, but it is a little pricey when you're starting out. Don't go too far down the rabbit hole because it does cause some confusion just because there's so many things that you can do with it. Before we jump into outreach, there are some principles I want to share with you quickly. The first one is something that you may have heard before, and that's simplicity scales and fancy fails. Don't overcomplicate it, and this goes for everything within your business. When I was just getting started, I thought you needed to get fancy and caught up in all the minute details that didn't shift the needle forward. All you need to do is sell them on the idea of the first meeting and not the service. So when I started reaching out to prospects in my first message, I'd tell them all about what I do, how I do it using X, Y, and Z, and this is what I could do for them. The result? Or I was left on red and blocked. I was completely scaring my prospects away and they knew all I wanted to do was sell them. I didn't come from the right place. The next principle is you need to do enough outreach. I hear this all the time. I reached out to 10 or 30 business owners today, and so that's all I'm doing, and then they just stop. I'm like, why?
Are you retarded?
Why aren't you sending 100, 200, or 300 outreaches per day? Now, some will say that's excessive, but you need to. When I started, I sent out 100 outreaches every single day, no automations. If you send someone a message on Instagram, make sure you email and also Facebook message them as well, just in case they miss it on one platform. You need to do everything in your power to take the odds in your favor. This is all brute force. The more outreach you do, the more calls you're going to schedule. When you switch from that to complimenting them on their business, what they do well, and genuinely want to help, and then suggest a phone call or a Zoom call, your response rate is going to be a lot higher and you're going to start to get people to agree to it. Your job isn't to sell them on the service or pitch them to begin with. If you do this, you're never going to get clients. Your only focus is to sell them on scheduling a meeting with you. Principle 2 is stop being a cookie cutter agency. I have mentioned this on so many of my YouTube videos. When you're starting out, you're searching for the perfect outreach method and the right script. So what do? You copy and paste it word for word and send it out to potential clients. By doing this, you're no different to the 5 or 10 other agencies that have sent the same email today. You will never get a meeting. That's even if they open it. It's funny because eventually by doing this, you will land a client. And for me, I did this and it took me 9 months to get my first paying client. I was so proud of myself. But if you don't want to go through all that like I did, just stay away from it. Every single outreach you hear works. Cold email, cold calling, Facebook, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn prospecting, Loom videos, they all work. What it comes down to is your unique selling point and presentation. If you are creative, you will stand out. That's how I was able to score meetings with some of the largest real estate agents in the world. Granted, I couldn't close them, but I still managed to get meetings. Why? Because I stood out. In this video, I'm going to be going through this outreach tracker. So I know a lot of you guys are starting your outreach, and when you do, it's really important that you track everything that you do in a clear, concise way that's really simple and also easy for you to understand. So what we've got here is a simple tracker. It is modified from the original one. So we got cold email, Loom, Facebook DMs, cold calls, Instagram DMs, LinkedIn, and then the total here. So I'm going to take you through exactly how this works. Really, really simple. So obviously the daily goal is 100, but if you don't want to do 100, we can obviously always change this number. Now let me show you what it does. So let's say we do 10 cold emails. It's going to populate total here. We got 10 Loom videos, 20 Facebook DMs, right? So now we got the color coding. So red, obviously bad, yellow, orange, whatever you want to call it, 30 here. We got 70, so now we're getting closer to our goal. We do 20, and then we've got 10. And then as you can see, the color here changes. So you'll see it's green because we've hit our daily goal. Now, if we change this to, instead of 100, we actually change it to 150, you'll notice this changes as well. So we're not at our goal anymore. So we're still in the yellow. And that changes no matter what you put it at. Okay, so if you only want to do 75, fantastic, you've hit your goal. So that's really how this system works. So you can kind of, like, if you don't have time, if you're at school, maybe your goal is to do 50 a day. And let's say we've got this. So now we're at 40, so it's blue, right? Because we're not at our goal. So you see how this sort of works here. And then all we need to do is we can simply reset this. Now, as you reset, please note, I've just clicked reset and it resets automatically. You will need to, once you click the reset button for the first time, it will ask for permissions to run a little software. So you'll sign into your Google account, and then what'll happen is you just tick all permissions and it will work. It takes about 30 seconds to do. You don't have to install anything, nothing like that. It's pretty simple. But yeah, that's how this outreach tracker works, right? So daily goals here. Monday, we've got cold emails, so maybe we do 20 of those. We do 20 of Looms, 20 Facebook, 10 cold calls, 20 Instagram, and then obviously 10 LinkedIn. And same thing with Tuesday, right? Maybe we go 10, we go 30, we go 5, we go 35, and you see here. And that's really it. So it's really, really simple to use. And then obviously at the end of each week, you can reset this. So obviously, let's say we go, let's just do 100, for example. So we've got the whole week. We've hit our goal of 500 pieces of outreach. Fantastic. That's all green. And then we can just simply reset. But if, for example, we only do 50 one day, we can see that we're still 50 short. So you can make up for it. So this is just a really simple way to really track your cold outreach. And I think it's really important. For the longest time, I didn't, and it caused a lot of problems because I didn't fully understand, well, okay, how many pieces of outreach was I actually doing each day? And it got a bit messy. So I think this is really, really important. Okay, so now we're going to find prospects to outreach to. There are many ways to do this. So what I'm going to do is jump into my computer and actually show you a few ways. Let's get started with the Facebook ads library. For me, this is a great way to find prospects because they're already spending money. We can also see when they launched, how much they spent, and it's a good indication if we can help or not. When I started, however, seeing a company already running ads scared me because I thought, well, why do they need me if they're running ads already? For most local businesses, the ads aren't great and chances are they're not working. This is where you can come in. They're already allocating funds towards it, so why not get the best results possible? It's an easier conversation compared to someone who isn't running ads. Now, I'm going to share my screen on how to do this. All right, so this is the new way to actually search what your competitors are doing and what potential prospects are running in terms of Facebook ads. So we're going to type in Facebook ads library. We're going to click the ad library here. Now it's going to take you to this page. As you can see, I'm in Australia, so it says Australia first. Most of my audience are in the UK and also the United States. So I'm just going to change it here and I'm going to type in United States. Now I'm also going to type here, we're going to click all ads. Now this is where it's different and we can search keywords and sub niches within niches to find people's ads. So I'm just going to go real estate as an example here. Now what you'll also find, you'll see a lot of the big brands, they come up here and we can see Mark Spain, we've got Better Homes and Gardens, American Caribbean real estate, local real estate, but we're just going to go real estate and click enter and search. Okay, so you're going to see, oops, it came up with local real estate. So we got more than 50,000 results here. So as you can see, what we can do is just go through started, and we can see when they started running, on what platforms. Obviously the housing category with real estate, you always have to have the housing category on. We got Daniel Group Real Estate. Want to know more about real estate in Seattle, follow now, get plenty of tips. So the beauty is we can actually go onto his Facebook page from here. We can see how many page likes he's got. We can go to his website. We can view all of his ads. There's a lot that we can do with this new update. So he's running 3 ads at the moment, right? Very simple, very basic. We can obviously do a deep dive on and see how well he's actually doing here. Maybe we click on his Facebook page. So yeah, we've got 220 likes, 227 followers. Yep, he posts most days, which is great. We'll also be able to see how well he's doing. So as you can see here, his awards, we got the top 3% in highest sales volume 2022, 2021 as well. He's been in real estate for 17 years, closing 420 properties, generating over 410 million in sales, which is, decent. And then obviously we can go down here, we can see what his listings are, what sort of the average price is. We're talking about 1.5 million, which is great. So we can see some past sales, they're 2 to 3 million, here 1.6, 1.5. So you see here, this is how we're going to be able to spy and really see, if we can actually help this person. Right, so he's independent, he works for himself, he's a managing broker, which is great. So obviously he's someone that we could potentially reach out to, right? Definitely needs help with ads. He's got some reviews, which is awesome. So he could be added to the list. Okay, and this is what we're doing, guys. So for lead generation, we're going to type in the industry and we're just going to go through, right? So obviously Amy, We've got, she's got a new listing ad. That definitely could use some touching up. I don't really like it that much, so obviously we can go on to her website. Yep. So she's with Sotheby's, which is great. Good landing page here. You can see what her properties are, that she's got for sale. We'll also be able to find her sold properties here to give a ballpark on how much she's actually making. All right, because that's important. We need to make sure that they can actually afford our services. So you can just go through this, and this is what I would be doing, right? So here's another one. Looks like it's a branded one, so you'd have to probably talk to corporate, which isn't a great idea. I always stick with independence. That's really, where I stick to. And I just noticed up here, these people are using the exact same graphic, and it's just copy and paste. It's just not great, right? It really isn't. So that's another person we can help. Here we go. So you can see here that this is what you're going to be doing. We're going to be able to see when they started, when they launched, what platforms. We're going to be able to spy on, have a look at their website, have a look at their social media pages, how many followers they got, how many likes, what their engagement is, what their strategy is. And we can do this for all different industries. So for example, I go med spa, right? This is another example. So again, 4,900 results. So we started running on the 8th of September. Looks like a pretty big company, Wrights Media Spa, obviously because they're taking up pretty much the whole page to start with. And their ads are pretty good, right? They look like they're, they've got someone in-house that does them, so I don't think they're a good fit. But this is an example of some good ads. So obviously that's something that you could potentially model from, right? We got Dawn's Laser Med Spa. This could be an interesting one. Over 20 years experience, 196 likes. We've got their website here, so we can have a look at. They're only running one ad, and look, this isn't great, right? Like, let's be honest. It started a couple of days ago. It's not that great. So you can see here whether you do this and build a list and then reach out to them, or you get a VA to do it. This is the process, you guys. This is the process that you could use to, find an unlimited amount of leads. Like, look, there's 4,900 results here, right? There was over 50,000 in real estate, and there's going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands, in every single niche. So I think this is a fantastic way to find potential prospects, because you can see not only the ads they're running, you can obviously go to their page, you can go to their website, you can actually do a complete deep dive in their business within a matter of minutes. This is one of the outreach methods that I swear by. Most of my clients has come from this, as well as Loom, which I'll show you shortly. It's allowed me to connect with some of the best real estate professionals in the world and can help you do the same for your niche that you're in. It's called Facebook and Instagram DMs. When used correctly, this method is extremely effective. Now, as you go through this outreach method, you will notice they all follow a similar framework. Most of you, I'm sure, have sent messages on Facebook and Instagram, but don't get much responses from the prospects. For me, I only send a 60-second video message, selfie video message, or a voice message. Why? Because it stands out. There are so many reasons that I love this method. Firstly, it's personal. They can get a good sense of who you are in a 30 to 60-second message. Now, don't worry, you will mess up. While creating this video, I've looked at some older versions of mine, and let's just say they're kind of embarrassing. So let me go through the structure of this message. Like I said, no matter what outreach you do, it does follow a similar framework. I do like to add a couple of things, and this does apply for Facebook as well. Firstly is to introduce yourself and address the prospect by their first name. Make sure you're talking to the owner and reach out to them directly. This is important because if you just reach out to a large company, person watching it will probably just be on the admin team and won't give it a second thought. even marketing managers. They don't like you most of the time anyway. When the owner specifically wants you to go through them, it's kind of game over. Just move on to the next prospect because you're never going to close that deal. The marketing person they have on will fear they're going to get replaced, so it's not going to be a good dynamic, and I'll tell the owner this. Just say, look, with all due respect, going through this person won't end in a positive outcome because they may feel their job is at risk and they will have a bias towards what we talk about because they're just going to tell you that they're going to implement it themselves, when in reality, if that were the case, they would have done it already. Look, this won't happen a lot. I think it's only happened to me a couple of times, and I was just straight up with the business owner and he respected it. Next is compliment them on something on their profile or their business, as you would do in a cold email, for example. It shows you care about their business and that you're a human being. It's not just copy paste, copy paste. When you're reaching out to them, maybe you notice they're not running ads, or you feel like there is X, Y, and Z missing within their strategy. Lastly is a call to action. Now, again, we're only after a meeting, so keep it light, keep it short, and see if they're available for a chat later on in the week. That's the formula. Now, this applies to both Instagram and Facebook. I know what you're thinking. Cody, I'm not comfortable in front of camera. Don't worry, this can be done as a voice message as well. I would recommend getting comfortable in front of camera because it does come in handy. When I started, I dreaded it and honestly hated it. But if you keep practicing and the more times you do it, you'll get more comfortable. Just like I'm filming this YouTube video now. Now, I've actually found some old messages I sent to prospects, both on Instagram and Facebook, that landed me a lot of meetings. So I'm gonna play them for you now. I apologize for the bad quality in advance and my tonality. I am very loud and full of energy. A few things have changed since then, but I just wanted to show you some real world examples of me doing outreach when I first started my agency 3-4 years ago. Hey, what's going on, Jerome? Hope you're well. Look, my name's Cody. You don't know who I am. I actually just sent you a message on Facebook because we are now friends, so I appreciate that. Obviously, I know you've partnered up with Ty Lopez and you're doing some massive things in the real estate space. As you can see by my profile, I help a lot of real estate agents, developers, investors, do all kinds of stuff with paid advertising, which is pretty cool. I'd love to actually get on the phone with you and talk to you about it because obviously you're partnered with Ty Lopez. You know he runs so many ads, it's not even funny, with high ticket coaching, his courses, his programs, mentorship, etc., and he spends millions of dollars. Look, I'd love to talk to you about how you can actually do a similar thing. So look, let me know when we can chat, provide you some value, and we'll go from there. Cheers, Jerome. Hey, what's going on, Tony? Hope you're well. Absolutely loved your episode on the Gary Vee show with Steve Schwartzman. That was an absolute awesome thing to watch and actually listen to. It would have been an honor, really, to feature alongside Steve Schwartzman. I mean, that guy is incredible with how he's built Blackstone. Anyway, off topic, but look, obviously from my profile, it is great to connect, but I'm sure you can see that I help real estate developers and agents just like yourself, not only build their online brand, but also with lead generation. And I'd love to actually talk to you about how I can help you, because I have looked at your business, your website, Facebook pages, and all that kind of stuff. And there is a few little gaps that I see that obviously I can help fill. But look, before that, I'd love to actually go over it in a Zoom call, 15, 20 minutes, sometime next week, and explain that to you. And if we work together, amazing. If not, hopefully you can walk away with some value added to the business. Talk soon, Tony. Hey, what's going on, Stephen? Hope you're well. Obviously, I got your website up here and your Instagram profile here. It is amazing to actually chat to you. Obviously, you follow me as well, and I appreciate that, showing the love and support. Look, obviously, you can see by my profile, I do real estate digital marketing, lead generation, buyer and seller leads, but also the number one thing we do is make you that authority agent in your local marketplace and distribute the content that you already have to the correct people to generate more inbound leads and to solidify you as that agent of trust. So that is really the most important thing. It is through a 4-step process that we've created via pretty much working with hundreds of agents across over 2 years, all across the world, really. So look, I'd love to chat to you about it and how we can implement it for you. And if we can do business together, amazing. If not, no problem. You've actually walked away with a step-by-step system to implement yourself to grow and scale your business in 2020. Cheers. Hey, what's going on, Tom and the whole story team? Obviously, I got your Instagram page up here and your Facebook page up behind me, which is currently obviously running one ad. Now, I help real estate agents just like yourself, the top real estate agents in the world, with their paid advertising, not only to generate them more buyer leads and seller leads, but to make them that and maintain themselves as that authority real estate agency brokerage in their local marketplace by providing valuable, strategically placed content and distributing it to the correct people. Now, I'd love to chat to to you. There are a few gaps in the strategies that you're currently doing. I know your social media marketing and your posts are phenomenal and really on point. But where I help is the strategy and the paid advertising stuff, which is really where the ROI is generated. Obviously, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it is a pay-to-play environment now. So look, I'd love to provide you some value over a 15-minute Zoom call, and whether we do business together or not is irrelevant. I just want to provide you some value because I love what you guys are doing. Hey, what's going on, Gary? Hope you're well. Love seeing your success, bro. Loving your Instagram feed as well with all the cars that you're posting and your new Bentley. Congrats. I'm a big watch person myself, but obviously you can see by my feed, I help real estate agents just like yourself generate a lot more buyer leads, seller leads, and most importantly, make them the number one agent of trust in their local area. So people are coming to you every single day without having to rely on referrals and that treacherous outreach that I know agents hate. So look, I'd love to chat to you about this because the strategies that I have will work insanely well with your business. I work with already successful agents to take them to that next level. Obviously, Gary Vee, Tom Ferry talk about paid ads all the time. Now this is the time to really dive deep on it. And I'd love to provide you some value over a 15-minute Zoom call. And if we do business, amazing. If not, no problem. At least you walk away with a step-by-step strategy on how to do it yourself and the system. All right, so those were some examples that I've done over the years and ones I could find. I believe all of them landed me meetings, maybe besides one. So the success rate is amazing. And for the ones who don't book a meeting, they're always appreciative. Like, they really love these messages. This does take practice, so don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect right away. I think it's important now to have a neutral tone though. That's the difference. And that is something that I struggled with for a long time. On some sales calls, you notice the person is very enthusiastic and it's just like, here we go, another sales call. Going into it, I thought that's how you should be, excited, pumped, ready to go. But they can smell it from a mile away. You want to keep a neutral tone at all times, and that's something that I'm going to go through when we get to the sales module of this free program. I want you to apply the same principles and structure as you've seen here in your voice messages as well. Be clear, concise, and to the point. Try not to have many ums, ahs, and if you do, you can easily retake it until you get it right. All right, for those that are comfortable on video, this is the most powerful way, in my opinion, to get meetings and is my personal favorite along with Facebook and Instagram. It's called Loom. I first seen this method a few years ago done by a marketer named Jeremy Haynes, who calls it the perfect cold video pitch. I started to implement it right away. Now, starting out, it was very difficult to set appointments. Well, at least for me. I had no idea what to say or what I was doing. I wish I had some old videos saved because my tonality was just horrendous. I can't even begin to tell you how bad it was. However, some people, when they send their first Looms, just get meetings right off the bat. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you some examples because I think that's the best way for you to see what this method is about and how effective it is. So I'm not sure how long these will go, but usually I aim for anything between 4 to 6 minutes. Now, one example I had found that's pre-recorded was closer to 15 minutes, which is way, way too long. This was back in 2018 when I sent that 15-minute long video, and it was probably one of the first 5 Looms that I ever sent. This is going to streamline your outreach and cut the time it takes to pitch in half. And you can use Loom automation to do this. It's where you send a general Loom rather than a custom one each time. The reason for this is so no time is wasted. If they don't watch it, it doesn't matter. And it's also going to act as a conversation starter. So it acts as like a hook. Once you've got them on the line, you can organize a call with them. A general Loom video will be between 3 and 5 minutes long. It's a quick, short, punchy video going over how you do what you do, what results they can expect. Keep it simple, but this video will be extremely valuable to them. And you're also going to share a bit about your strategy. Now I'm going to show you this one that actually signed me this client. I worked with Dan Clark for about 4 months. In that time, he listed 3 properties. Now I know what you're thinking, 4 months isn't a long time. He did rebrand the company, went independent, and he just never had any use for me after that because he hired everything in-house. This isn't the exact one that I used, but I'm going to give you a demo and sort of what it looked like. Hey, what's going on, Dan? My name is Cody, founder of Leads on Demand. I wanted to shoot you this quick video because we have helped hundreds of agents generate 10, 20, 30 leads every single month, guaranteed, or you get a full refund. So I just wanted to make this quick video because I absolutely love what you're doing. I think what you've done with the website is fantastic. Obviously, you have just recently joined the eView group by the looks of things, but yet you're still the #1 agent in your local and surrounding areas with 4.9 stars and over 200 reviews, which is just absolutely incredible. I mean, you're the best agent by a long shot in this area. As you can see here, you sell a lot of properties, but I've got a way that we can generate you 10 to 20, even 30 leads every single month guaranteed. And that's what I really wanted to show you. Now, I know obviously on your Facebook, you are quite active, asking questions, posting open homes, posting for sales, just sold, testimonials, which is awesome to actually see. And you've got a lot of videos here. So, you are keeping up to date with your socials, yet you aren't running any ads at the moment, which is, very surprising to me because, your content is just great. Like you've got a lot of testimonial videos, which you could be promoting. You've got a lot of suburb report, property update videos, which you can use. You've got a lot of introduction videos for yourself and your brand, right? Everything that you have, you've got some incredible content that you aren't utilizing effectively, right? Which is really why I'm making this video. So I'm just going to jump into my ad account to actually show you what we've done for previous clients. Then, so as you can see, we've been generating leads for these clients and they're costing anywhere between $15 and $50 per lead. Obviously the $50 a lead ones were in rural sort of areas. So, not so much applicable to you, but, nonetheless, I just wanted to show you an example of the different spread of metrics. But our usual cost per lead is about $20 to $25 on average. So you can see we're getting leads there. We're getting their name, email, phone number, and the property address. We're offering a free appraisal. So I know for yourself, you're a big advocate on door knocking. So an example with how we can utilize this strategy for you is once we generate the lead, you can go out to that prospect's home and actually hand deliver that report to them, which I think would be incredibly powerful since you do door knocking already. Now, another thing that we can actually do for yourself is I notice that you've got a pixel on your website, which is fantastic. So what we can do is every time someone lands on your website and, looks at a particular property or searches a particular property or inquires, we can actually then retarget them on Facebook with Facebook ads specifically for what they're looking for, right? Based on the action that they actually take. So something else that we can do is you've got a lot of testimonials. I know you've got a lot of testimonial videos. We can actually run testimonial videos and really create that brand awareness for yourself to create that know, like, and trust. So when someone's thinking about selling their home, they instantly think of Dan Clark, right? And no one else. So with the testimonial videos, we would also then place the just listed and also just sold, and we can run those as campaigns. I know you do a lot of vendor paid advertising. So what we can do is we can actually use that to our advantage to create brand awareness and, generate leads organically. That way they'll start messaging you, they'll start calling you, as well as the cold lead generation ads. So look, Dan, thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. So that's an example of what I would use to reach out to clients. Notice I'm still following the framework from the previous modules, but it's an extended version of it. I'd also send the link through email, Facebook, Instagram, or any social media account that they have to make sure that I give myself the best chance they view it. In my experience, writing a short message on Facebook and Instagram, attaching the link is the best way to get someone to reply. Paid ads, it's one of those ways that most people you see online don't recommend. It's a very taboo subject for most marketers, but for me, however, if you have the budget and understand how to do it effectively, it is the single best way to get new clients fast. I'm not kidding. If you apply everything else that you've learned so far and do this as well, there is no way you can't be making 10K per month in the next 3 months. In the following videos and modules, I will take you through step by step how to run paid ads and take you inside the ads manager. The moment I started running ads for myself, everything changed. It was like I was discovering fire for the first time. It was just so inconceivable to me why I hadn't done this before or why people didn't recommend it. Yet, if you look at the big agency owners in the space, 90% of their clients come from paid advertising. I'm telling you right now, if you have some capital to deploy, work a job, or have some money that you can put towards this and the skills, this is the best way to buy your success and cut out the daily grind of outreach. Now, this isn't financial advice and this is at your own risk. Learning to set this up for yourself can be done, but the real skill will be the sales side. You need to understand the fundamentals of sales, how to sell for this to work effectively. So make sure you watch this, rewatch the sales module as many times as you need to. In this tutorial, I'll take you through some of the terminology and the high-level fundamentals before taking you through the strategy, ad creatives, graphics, and also videos. To use this strategy, I'd recommend having a disposable income of about $500 to $1,000 US. Now, considering people spend tens of thousands to go to university and sometimes hundreds of thousands to earn a six-figure salary per year after graduation, I think it's a good investment. If I told you just by having the skills that you're learning here inside this free program on YouTube and a couple of $1,000s to spend on ads, I can guarantee you wouldn't be giving me an excuse of how it's too much money or this and that. Now look, you don't need to spend your hard-earned cash on this yet. If you don't want to, that's fine. You can just skip and go to the organic methods and also the sales process, which is going to be next. Now, I know a lot of you are going to want to implement this, and some have already done that with incredible results. I first learned paid ads when I went to the US and I stayed with someone for a month. Prior to that, I'd spent a month pulling my hair out because I just didn't understand any of it. I tried and tried, but had no success. I want these trainings to be your Bible and one-stop shop because I know not many people teach what I'm showing you now. Look, this isn't rocket science. Once you know how to do it for one industry, you can do it for all of them. So it's a very powerful skill to have. All right, so what we're gonna do is break down what campaigns, ad sets, and ads actually are. So a campaign is the overarching structure used. So it's the foundation for everything that we do. This sets your objective for each campaign you want to run. So this could be lead generation, send to message, conversion campaigns, which is typically for e-commerce, remarketing campaigns, and this is the level that you decide what you want to do and your overall goal and objective. Do you want leads, messages, what? Now, ad sets are where we create an audience for your ad using the targeting options. You can do this by age, location, jobs, and a whole lot more. You're also going to be able to set your budget in this section where you want your ads to be shown, like the news feed, stories, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Now, an ad is what your audience and customers will see. They will see your copy, your images, your videos you use. You're gonna see all the engagement you have on the ad as well. In the paid ads module, I'm gonna break down this all in more detail. Okay, so there's so many ways to run ads to get leads for your agency. Most you'll see have a complete system set up, which does cost a lot of time and also some money. They use retargeting campaigns, email flows, and drive everything to an optimized landing page. The good news is you don't need any of that to start. Now, there are two options when you're starting out, and I'm going to take you through them individually and break down the maths and costs and what your ROI could be month one. First, we have lead forms, and another option is the send to message function. Both of these are the most cost-effective options, but I will let you decide which one you prefer to use. At the end of the day, this is all about trial and error to see which one you prefer. In my case, I like lead forms first, and then I move to the send to message option. All right, so let's break this down. Using lead forms will allow you to collect leads and prospects' contact details. You can customize this and get them to fill in additional questions. However, I like to just keep it name, email, phone number to begin with, and maybe you could add another question or two later on. Now, you can do a one call close or a two call close. That's completely up to you, and I'm gonna let you decide that. Here's an example that I use to run for my real estate agents to contact me. You can see it's not groundbreaking, right? Honestly, the graphics are pretty terrible, but they converted extremely well, and it just comes back to simplicity. Tell them what you do, what you're offering, and why they should even be interested. If you're gonna use a video, which I do recommend now in 2024, it's all about native ads, like Alex Hormozi style ads. Here are a couple of examples that are killing it right now. As you can see, the average lead cost was 30 Australian dollars or 22 USD. Now, the costs were a little bit inconsistent. Some days leads would cost $10 and then I'd spend a few $100, and other days I'd get leads for $40. The tracking on Facebook is pretty bad. Now though, lead forms can cost you anywhere between $10 and $15, which is amazing, and you should be able to achieve similar results. You always need to be increasing your budget, right? Because if you want to spend $50 per day, sometimes you'll only get 2 leads, and sometimes it's not going to spend the entire $50. It may only spend $30, right? Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I tested different audiences. One, I let Facebook take control, left all targeting open, and the second, I tested on targeting real estate professionals and only showing my ads to the intended audience. As for locations, since I wasn't spending a lot of money, I only targeted cities such as Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane. Now, you may not be in Australia, so you don't know, but this still applies to you. Just target individual cities. I just targeted the largest cities in Australia. For example, if you're in the United States, don't target the whole country because you don't have the budget to cover that whole area. Pick a handful of cities that you want to work in. For me, I didn't target my city because it's not big and the people here don't really spend that much money. The reason I wouldn't target the whole United States is, like I said, it's simply not enough budget. As a new lead come in, it would automatically send to my email with their name, email, and phone number, and I'd get a notification and I'd simply just call them. That's it. I did have 10 emails on the back end if they said no or they didn't answer. The process doesn't need to be complex when you start. People love getting fancy, but the reality is all that matters is how much cash that you can collect. If you're profitable, keep doing it that way. You can add systems and processes in the coming months once you start making money. Don't make the mistake I did though, which was leaving it too late. Call them, book them in for a call if you need to, if you're using a VSL. Now, we'll have another video going into detail on how you could build one for yourself. It is really, really easy. You see, I keep it simple. Simple creative, simple copy, simple ads. At the time, no one was offering this and I got a ton of leads on day one, and it was then I knew that I was onto something. All right, so the next option is simple, yet it will actually qualify your prospects more, and it can even be more cost effective depending on where you are in the world. So this is called send to message. This option is never used the way it should be. Same ad creative and copy applies to this, but instead of them submitting their name, email, phone number, they're gonna go through a pre-qualifying sequence that's fully automated. Now, you can use a third-party software called ManyChat, which is only $10 a month, but it isn't required. However, if you do want to complete training on this, comment ManyChat in the description below and I'll get on to making a video. It will allow you to automatically follow up and segment your audiences just like email follow-up. But to start, all you need to do is create a custom flow. Once you do this, you can add additional questions and also replied options for potential prospects. Leads for this method cost anywhere between $7 and $15. I do like this method if you're starting out, but it can be difficult to organize prospects once you scale, hence why I use ManyChat. So now you understand the two methods, I want to talk to you about the results that you can get by implementing this into your business. I'm going to give you a conservative scenario here and present the worst case possible. All right, so let's say we got $1,000 in ad spend, and let's say our service fee is $1,250 per month. I know it's low, but it's what I'm going to use for this example because I think it's important to show just how powerful this strategy is. So let's assume it's a 3-month minimum, right? Which brings our lifetime value of a client to $3,750. All right, so let's assume the lead cost is $20, which means out of our 1,000 ad spend, we're gonna get 50 total leads. The average call booking ratio is 10%. It means whoever clicks through the ad and submits their details and books in a call directly on your calendar, I'm gonna be conservative and say it's less. So let's say 3 people book in directly, which leaves 47 leads for us to manually call and qualify, right? The lead to appointment ratio is around 30 to 35% on average. Let's say it's closer to 25%, meaning out of 47 leads, you're gonna get 12 of them booking in for a call to speak with you. That gives you a total of 15 book calls. An average closing rate of 25% means you close 3.75 clients. That leaves you with a total cash collected of $3,750 if you close 3 clients and $5,000 if you closed 4. This leaves us with a return on investment of between 3.7x and 5x on the higher end. Remember, this is just on upfront revenue, not including the lifetime value of that client. If we factor in the lifetime value, you're now looking at a lot more than that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you run ads profitably in 30 days. Once you can do this, all you need to do is spend a little bit more. Make sure your numbers make sense, and that's it. That's the beauty about paid advertising. The more you run ads, the more credible you become, which means your ads are going to be cheaper and cheaper. Now, we're profitable up front, but what about the other 75% of leads you didn't even get on the sales call with? You can have their contact details so you can follow up with them until they either die or unsubscribe. Sales, it's the heart of everything that we do in life, whether we realize it or not. From the time we're kids, we've been selling and persuading. Actually, this module has been the most difficult part to put together because it's one that I was overthinking the most because there's just so much information and different things involved with selling and closing that I can't include everything inside this free course. I've been selling for about 5 years now, maybe a little bit longer at this point, and I still have a lot to learn. Sales is a skill that takes decades to really master, but in this module, I'm going to share everything that you need to know regarding agency sales so you can start closing deals. I do want to preface this and say that I'm no sales expert and you should be consuming sales and closing related content because it's a skill that takes many years to master. When anyone thinks of a salesman, they typically think that they're slimy, use high pressure tactics, sleazy, and just people you don't want to talk to. Maybe that was the case in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s, but buyers have become more sophisticated and the game of sales has changed. Yeah, there's a time and place for a little bit of pressure, but I hate hard selling like you see in Wolf of Wall Street with Jordan Belfort or the old Grant Cardone videos. Selling B2B or business to business is very different to selling directly to a consumer. Service-based sales and agency sales specifically is just like a conversation where I'm leading a prospect where I want them to go by asking them specific questions. Sure, you can use some tactics and tricks and sometimes you might close someone by doing that, but a month or two into working together, they're going to be like, hang on, why did I actually do this? There'll be a lot of friction there. However, product-based sales, coaching, courses, masterminds, programs, it's very, very different, and there's a specific framework around that. If you believe you have a great product or service, it is your ethical responsibility to do what you can to close that client. The framework for agency sales remains the same regardless of niche. However, if you're servicing sales professionals like real estate agents, then you can't use the tactics because they'll know exactly what you're trying to do, and most of the time you're going to lose that sale because they're going to feel. Same with tradesmen or contractors. In Australia, I can't say this for the rest of the world, but they're extremely laid back, use slang, speak differently, and they also swear. So you need to match that. It's important to understand who you're going after because your tonality will change. If you're talking to a lawyer, it will be different to talking to an electrician. When I've spoken to anyone in the trade, such as plumber, electrician, landscaper, I can't talk in the same professional manner compared to, say, a lawyer or a doctor. For me, I've always struggled with talking to a tradesman, even though that's my family background, it's what my dad does and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but I've just struggled to build rapport with them, and I think they can sense it. When it comes to agency sales or sales in general, we can fall in the trap of listing all of the benefits and the features of our product or service. If someone gives us an objection or just wants to know what we do, average salesmen will get defensive and start talking about how we do this and we do that and this is why you should hire us, blah, blah, blah. They justify their services, and I'm telling you that's the wrong way to go about the situation. You need to remain calm and stay in control of the sale because in that moment, and I've seen this a lot and even done it myself, you are not in control. You need to take a step back, take a breath, understand this important concept. People really don't care about the features. It took me a long time to understand this. Can't exactly remember where I first heard this. I know, for example, in my previous sales role before starting an agency, we had 3 sentences about the feature of the product. 3 sentences. That's it. It was question-based sales, and I know Alex Hormozi also talks about this. When I first started my agency, I'd go in and talk about how we do Facebook ads, lookalike audiences, and this and that, and spent like 10 minutes just bombarding them with information about all the features and benefits of the service that we provide. When in reality, they don't care. If you do this, you're going to lose the prospect. They care about one thing: reaching their goal or dream outcome. Actually, the more you sell the features and benefits, the less likely they are actually to buy. You can unsell them by overloading them with information they don't need. There's a real balance to it. You're leading the prospect where you want them to go through a sequence of questions for them to have that epiphany moment themselves. Whether you sell a service or product, the idea that they need this must come from them and not you. This is so important, and why I believe agency sales is just a conversation, because if you've created a killer offer, that will solve their biggest pains there is. And there's nothing to really sell them on. It's like, do you want this or do you not? And most of the time, they're going to be in that buying headspace. And if they're in the right frame of mind, you'll close them. You aren't selling them. In the training videos ahead, I'm actually going to go through the journey we use to make this happen. Now, you'll also find some scripts. Maybe I'll link them in the description, comment scripts if you do want them. They won't be word for word because you should never read one. You need a framework and structure, but if you're reading a script, you'll sound like a robot. The prospect will know and you won't get the deal closed. It needs to be a conversation, one that's structured, but you still have room to add things based on how the prospect responds. Of course, there'll be questions you have to ask, and all agencies they've spoken to before will have that, but you must stand out in your delivery, and once you get results, you'll be able to share your screen and show them that. I did sales for 3 months with an e-commerce business in the US. It didn't work out due to the time differences. However, it was the most simple sales process I've seen inside an agency. The reason I'm bringing this up is you don't need to be complicated or get fancy with it. Once you have results, that's all you need to get prospects. We'd get on a Zoom call, ask questions about their business, where they are now, where they want to go, what's stopping them from achieving that goal, and then share 7 businesses Shopify store just to show them behind the scenes of what we did. And that's it. When you get to that stage, it's either they want to work with you or they don't. It's no big deal for you. When you're starting out, you need to just be honest and as transparent as possible. Don't talk in marketing jargon, just have a conversation like I've stated before. You always have to remember 99% of businesses you speak to will have some sort of experience with a marketing agency. And 9 times out of 10, it's not a good one. They're going to be on the back foot from the start because of their past experiences. You'll hear it a lot. They will tell you how much money they've spent and how much they've lost and the results and how this company is horrible and just absolute dog shit and didn't deliver. That's why it's important for you to be different from the start. If you don't think you can help them, tell them that. They're going to be grateful because a lot of agencies would just sign on, take their money, deliver no results, and that's what hurts our industry. As you go through this video course, I'm going to refer and recommend some other resources because sales and closing can be an entire program in itself. I want you to go back and listen to this video again because there are a lot of concepts that you need to understand. So don't make the same mistakes that I did. I've made so many mistakes when it comes to selling. I've tried it all. I went into real estate agents' offices. I spoke in front of the whole team, but they left the meeting with nothing. I went to Australia's biggest real estate event and spent $2,000 on a ticket for a 3-day event to close 0 clients. There were 2 simple reasons for this. Number 1, I wasn't confident. And number 2, I just spoke in marketing mumbo jumbo. I asked no questions. I didn't listen and I broke every sales rule possible. It was a complete disaster. You can listen and read all the resources you want, but at the end of the day, the only real way to learn this skill is by actually doing it and practicing it. Once you have the framework, it's time to put it in action. You will fail, your tonality won't be great, and you'll get ghosted, but it's part of the process and what you must go through to become successful. Even now, I'm still learning sales, and that's why it's difficult for me to create this module because I'm not an expert. I'm not a sales trainer. So go through this section, remember what I've told you in this video, but once you have the framework and understand it, you just need to put it in action. This presentation or something similar will help you close clients with ease. I've come back to add this section just because I feel like it's important for you to understand as you can leverage this when you're on your sales presentation. When you're starting out with no results and case studies, it can be difficult to close clients, especially if you're not confident. You need to show extreme confidence in what you say and how you present. Every single word matters, but in the beginning, it's not easy. So when a prospect asks for results or case studies and you don't have them, well, might as well just kiss that opportunity goodbye. Don't worry, there is a way to overcome this, and it's a simple presentation like this that's helped me land a lot of clients, especially when I was getting started. So what I'm gonna do is jump into my computer and actually show you the presentation. So on the sales call, I would just simply show them this and you can kind of take them through it. I'm going to take you through just a mock-up example that I created for this program because my original one, has been lost. However, this is a great example of something that you can use. Now, if you do have a winning offer, then you don't necessarily have to say why Facebook ads for your niche. Okay, just keep that in mind because Facebook is the vehicle. They really don't care about this. This was just at a time where I didn't have an irresistible offer. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So obviously, firstly, we've got our logo. Secondly, we've got, this could be replaced with your offer and your guarantee and the benefits of your offer, right? Next, and this is the most important part, which is some examples of people that are running ads already who are crushing it in their area, and they're some of the best agents, or they're some of the best businesses in your field. All right. So for example, we got Alex Phillis. So he's a luxury real estate agent on the Gold Coast in Australia. Here's some examples from campaigns. Now, again, these are not my results. I've never run a campaign for him. I've never spoken to him, but I knew someone who was, and these are the numbers, right? So I can leverage, like, hey, this is what this person is doing. Alex Phillis sold a $3.5 million property from a $5 Facebook ad. He's getting 5 times more leads than REA and Domain combined, which is Australia's 2 biggest real estate portals. He listed 2 properties for sale, and he sold them through, using $300 on Facebook. Obviously you got $15 million in property sold in 30 days from spending $800. So these are just reassuring your prospects that, hey, this guy is one of the best in the industry in this area, in this city, and he's using this method. All right. And here's some of the ads he's running. Have a look. I just screenshotted them. I went into the ads library, which we've gone through before. So you should be able to see what your prospects' competitors are running. Now, you want to find 3 or 4 for this presentation, and you want to find some of the biggest and most well-known reputable businesses or people in the space in, the area that you're sort of targeting. All right. Now, next we've got Emil Jurassic. So he's founder of NGU Real Estate Group, which is Never Give Up. Now, he's built an empire in the last 4 years, right? 10 offices, 80 plus employees, $1.2 billion sold in 12 months. And he's really building a brand, and he's really using social media to do that. That's actually all he's doing. And he's one of the top 20 real estate agents and agencies in the country. So obviously he knows what he's doing, right? And then here's some example ads that I've just screenshotted of some free appraisal ads. So you can obviously talk about these examples. Chari, he's a top agent down in Victoria. I actually worked with him. And I also worked with Elias as well. But here's some examples of some ads that you can be running, right? And that's what I would say. I can say, look, here's what your competition are running, and this is what they're generating from it, and this is the overall process. So you can see what you're doing is showcasing what other people in the industry are running, other successful people, and using that as leverage to be like, hey, look, this is what you're missing out on, right? Right now, the people that want an appraisal on the property in Biawar, in these areas, in Helensvale, in Mermaid Waters, in Broadbeach, they are going to these people and not you. Which how much do you think that's costing you each month? If you miss out on one listing at an average of $950,000, that's upwards of $20,000 you're losing, right? This is how you leverage prospects, competitors' ads, and this is what I want you to be doing within your business, because it is so powerful. So you can see just how effective this really is. By using the competition as a leverage, they'll now start to feel FOMO and the fear of missing out. Every single business wants an edge on the competition. When they have that feeling, you've hooked them. You've got them right where you want them. All right, now we're going into the intro sales call. So this isn't going to be a super long video just because, it's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. So please note this works best if you're running ads for inbound leads. This can be applied if you're sending Loom or any outreach with a positive response. It's important that they reply back and are interested in your service. Now, this is really designed for, if you are running lead form ads and a lead comes through, this is what you would say on the call. So let's run through this. Hey, is this John? Hey John, it's Cody from Agency Academy. I seen you submitted your details wanting to find out a bit more about our 10 booked appointments guaranteed offer, and figured it was a good chance to chat and really just see if it's something that could help you. Do you have a couple of minutes? Do you notice how my tonality is relaxed, fun, vibrant? Like, it's not super formal, it's just casual and laid back. Cool. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions just to see if it's a good fit, okay? And then you can go into the questions. For the organic outreach method, we can say pretty much the same thing. It would go something like this. Hey, is this John? Hey John, it's Cody from Agency Academy. I was the one that sent you that Loom video just in regards to the 10 booked appointments strategy and thought it was a good chance to connect. Do you have a couple of minutes to chat? Cool. If it's okay, I'd love to ask you a couple of questions about your business and really just see if it's something that could actually help you. I wouldn't want to waste either of ours time. And then you just jump straight into it. With these qualifying questions, it's important that we try to probe and we get deeper answers rather than surface level. So what I mean is this. How are you currently getting your clients and customers? Oh, I'm using paid ads. That's very one-word answer. You want them to elaborate. Okay, cool. Can you tell me more about that? How's that working for you? Oh yeah, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's really not. Yeah, I totally understand that, John. A lot of customers, a lot of clients of ours say the exact same thing. So how many clients are you working with at the moment on a monthly basis? Oh, I'm probably working with about 7 to 9. Okay, cool. And how many more would you want to be taking on? Like, how many more could you take on? Oh, I could probably take on, another 10 or 15. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you can fit quite a few more in, which is great. And I guess what prompted you to submit your details? This is more of a question if you're running paid ads, and this is super important. Like, what made you book a call? It's like what I ask every one of you guys who booked a call for Agency Academy. Like, what made you schedule a call? How long have you been following me for? These are questions that you need to know the answers to, right? And even if you're doing it organically, you can say, what got you interested in what we do? Then you can go on to, like, what are your goals for the business in the next 6 to 12 months? Tell me more about that. Why is that? Like, if you were to achieve that, like, what would that mean for you in the business? Like, what would you like to be doing? Do you want to buy a Lamborghini, Ferrari? Do you want to go on a holiday? Like, do you want to retire? Like, what do you want? Like, why do you want this? And then you can ask them, what do you think is standing in their way of achieving it? Right? And they'll go through it. They'll go through it with you. If they don't open up, ask why. Start probing, because it is okay to probe. This is just really important. You want to keep it nice, short, sharp, and straight to the point. Cool, John. I appreciate you answering those questions. From what you've said, I believe we can help you. So what I'd like to do is actually schedule a meeting so I can walk you through how it works and answer any questions that you might have. How's that sound? Yeah, sounds good. Awesome. Does Tuesday at 10 work for you? It's important you assume the time and day because you want to set this meeting on this call. You want to pick a date and you don't want to be like, oh, so when works for you? Because then that opens them up to being like, oh, I've got to go away and check my calendar, or, I need to talk to my secretary, Mary. You don't want that. Assume the close. And by close, I don't mean the deal. I mean the second call. I mean the actual sales call itself. Assume the close. It's really, really important. Now, if they do have some time, and you can ask them this, do you have 15, 20 minutes now to go through it? If they do, get them on the demo now, right? But most people won't, but I just wanted to let you know that. And that's really it, guys. It's not complicated. It's more about how you say it, just like I've gone through with everything else. It's more about how you say it and how you deliver it rather than what you actually say. So go through, ask these qualifying questions, book the call. It is important to assume the close, assume the call at a certain time, because if you don't, it's going to give them room to, oh, don't worry, I'll reschedule with you another time, Cody. I'll let you know. I'll email you. I'll message you, right? They're not going to message you. So book the call on this call. And it's also important you send them the calendar invite, right? Send them the calendar invite while you're on the call with them and confirm it with them. Hey, John, did you get my calendar invite? Yes, I did. Fantastic. Awesome. Repeat the time back to them. end the call. It's so important, and you want to be repeating the time 2, 3, sometimes even 4 times just to make sure they will show up. And then obviously you've got the follow-up messages that happen automatically with Calendly if you use Calendly. So that's it, guys. Very, very simple intro call, about 5, 10, 15 minutes, super short, just a couple of questions that you can ask them. So this is where a lot of people make a mistake. Now, I wouldn't follow a script word for word, but you can use this as a guide for you on your sales calls. So let's just go right through. Let's just go through it. The introduction, you firstly want to build rapport and actually set the agenda. And this is something that people don't do well. So we're going to welcome, don't be a robot here, find some common ground. Maybe it's something in the background, maybe it's something they like, whatever it is, find some common ground and be likable. Now, just some general housekeeping, make sure they have their camera on, right? You have a plain background, you look good, professional. It does matter. Some people say it really doesn't, but look, it does. So they must have their camera on, and if they don't, just politely ask them. It's important to set the agenda because 1/4 of the prospects will be direct, demand price, or try to take control of the call. Now, this is a beginner mistake that a lot of people make. If they do this and you don't know how to handle it, you'll never ever close that client. And a lot of professional salespeople will try to do this, other sales professionals like real estate agents. So this can sound something like this. So John, this call will be short and sweet. What I'm going to do is start off by asking you some simple questions about your business to make sure if I can even help you. If it sounds like I can, then I'll run you through what we do and can let you know if it's a good fit or not. There's also going to be plenty of time for you to ask a bunch of questions. Sound good? Just for reference, if someone does try to take control and ask for the price upfront, never, ever, ever give it to them. You can say something like this. Before we get into that, my focus is to really get a better understanding about your business because right now I'm not even sure what we do could help you. So after this, we want to go into the discovery, and this is just all about where they're at currently, where they want to go, find out about their staff, if they have any assistants, VAs, like what their organization structure looks like. It's also important to get specific numbers, right? There must be a gap, and this is what we're doing. We're really just figuring out where they're at now, where they want to go, and bridging that gap. That's all we're doing. So the gap needs to be significant, and they need to say this, and it needs to be abundantly clear. Why are they on the call? Beyond just more leads and appointments, right? Because every business wants more leads and appointments. What have they done before? What are their biggest struggles and why, right? And what were the results? You want to get specific. These questions right here are very, very important. What have they done before? You should already know the answer to this based on your market research. Most of the prospects will actually have the same sort of answers. So they've used Zillow, they've used Angie's leads, and they hate it because they're not exclusive leads. They give them to 3 or 4 other people, and it's a bidding system, right? It's first in, first serve, and whoever provides the lowest possible price usually wins that job, right? And it's very frustrating. So you need to know all of these things before you actually get on the sales calls, right? Because you can actually anticipate these questions. So what I've found, John, a lot of ex-niche struggle with is they use Angie's leads, and the reason they hate it is just because of X, Y, and Z. Is that the same for you? Oh yeah, it is. You're going to build so much more rapport and respect, and they're going to feel like they trust you because you will come across as the expert because you know what their pains and problems are. Now, next we want to label the problem. So after we've gone through this, and this is where the majority of the time is going to be spent, right? Now, never allow for surface level answers. If they give you a surface level answer, you can ask the question again in a different way and always go deeper and ask why. So you get deeper responses rather than a surface level answer. Best way to do it. Next, we want to label the problem, right? So summarize what they have told you. So you've told me X, Y, and Z, and you've tried X, Y, and Z. So you know this can work, but it just needs a little bit of tweaking. Is that right? Tonality throughout this whole thing is extremely, extremely important. If your tonality isn't on point, then you're not going to get the sale. It's not so much about what you say, it's about how you say it. So please remember that. Next, you can go to past results, right? If you don't have past results, like you saw in the presentation earlier, none of those guys were my clients, right? I never claimed they were, but I used their results as leverage, and you can do the same. So I would pull up some people in their area, right, that are running Facebook ads or running different campaigns that you believe would be working, and use them as an example, because chances are the prospect that you're on the call with knows the person that you're referring to. Throughout this whole call, we're just getting mini verbal agreements and tie downs. If you do not do this, you won't close the prospect. At every stage, they must say yes, and they must understand what it is that you're doing, and they must have that epiphany moment themselves of, holy shit, I need this. You know, this is what's going to bridge that gap. So the pitch: do not sell the features. They don't care. They only want results. Explain why it hasn't worked for them in the past and how you are different. I like to use the 3 core principle method. All this is simply what you do in 3 points. The more details you give, the more questions they have, and the more questions they have, the more you'll face the objection of, I need to think about it. Next, we go into the close. The close is pretty simple. I'm not going to go into that. But the pitch here, you need to make this up for yourself, right? I don't have a pitch explaining everything in detail. It's literally 3 sentences. That's it. 1 for each of the points that we offer. All right. Now, objection handling, pretty simple. Price, you can say something like this. If something says, it's too expensive, it's, a cost thing. Most of the time, this is a smoke screen. You need to isolate this objection and find out if it's real or if it's something else. So, John, I'm curious. Help me understand something. Money aside, if we helped you achieve X, Y, and Z. And now X, Y, and Z is just referring to what they've told you their goals are. Would this be worth it? If you get a yes, ask them why. Do you believe this could help you achieve that? Yes. Why is that? We want them to sell themselves on why it would help them and why they should move forward. If they say, look, I just need to think about it. Okay, John, help me understand something. Usually when someone says they need to think about it, it's for one of 2 reasons. Firstly, they just, on some level, they're not convinced that this is going to work for them. And number 2, they just don't like me or, want to work with me. Do you believe we could help you achieve X, Y, and Z? If they get a yes, don't be afraid to call them out. You've told me that you've been in the same place for 7 months. Now, look, if you don't move forward today, do you think anything is going to change? No. So what are you afraid of? So did you mean what you said earlier about finally being ready to achieve X, Y, and Z? Yes, I did, but shoot for the close. It's okay to call people out, right? Because you've built enough rapport, and if you believe that you genuinely can help this prospect, it's your obligation to do what it takes to close this deal. Next is the partner objection. I typically don't get this purely because in the discovery call, you should know if they have a business partner, if they need to consolidate, if they need to talk to their wife or whatnot, right? They should always be on the call with you. So if they say, look, I like it, but I just need to, talk to my partner about it, whether that be wife or business partner. I understand. I'm curious, John, your partner aside, do you believe this can help you achieve, insert their goals? If they say yes, then you can say, okay, what if Mary, their partner's name, said no? Oh, they wouldn't. Then shoot for the close. And then if they say, I do it anyway, shoot for the close. If they don't close, you can say, does your partner know that you're struggling with X, Y, and Z? Of course they do. And do you think they'd want you to stay where you are now? Of course not. So do it. Like, what are they going to be upset about? If you believe that this is going to help you get to your goals, then why would your partner say no to that? So just a really short sales presentation today, because I don't think it requires some in-depth 30-minute, an hour-long training on its own. This is enough for you to start closing deals. The reason I haven't gone too deep in this section is simply because you need to do this yourself and you need to just have a conversation. That's really what sales is. It's a conversation between 2 people and you're figuring out where they're at now, where they want to go, and bridging that gap. All right, so I've put together this sales tracking sheet so you guys can really make a copy and use this for yourself. It is very straightforward, very simple. I'm going to briefly go through it because it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, it is for the whole remaining of the year, so February, March, all the way to December, as you can see here. So I'm going to go through what each of these actually mean so you can actually start using this for yourself. Now, please note this isn't for outreach. This is only for meetings that you set in your calendar with the prospect once you've done outreach. So as you can see, we've got the dates here. All right. And it is in the US format because obviously most of you guys are from the US. So I'm sorry for all you Australian folks and guys from the UK. We are working in the US sort of date system, if you will. So up the top, we got calls, offers, units, cash collected, and revenue. So cash collected and revenue, I'll go through in a second, but calls basically mean, okay, cool. If we set 5 meetings for Tuesday, right? How many of them will actually show up? So 4 of them show up out of 5. So we put 4 here. All right. So we've done 4 sales calls. Now, on those calls, did we make an offer? Did we let the prospect know, okay, great, you're a good fit. This is what we offer, and this is the price. If you've done that, then you're going, that is classed as an offer. And there's a simple reason why we want to track this, and I'll go through that in a second. So most of the time on these calls, we're going to be pre-qualifying them, so you will make an offer. So let's just say we got 4 calls, 4 offers. All right. Units is just deals, right? How many deals did you get? How many people did you close? So let's say we closed 1 out of the 4. We collected, let's say $500 cash. They want to do a $500 deposit, and then they're going to do another $500 in a couple of weeks' time when they start the campaign. So cash would be $500, but total revenue would be $1,000 if we're doing $1,000 per month. So that's just an example there. So let's just change that back to 1,000. Now let's say the next day we do 2 calls, we make 1 offer, but we get no closes, no units sold, and then we got 1, 1, 1, and we sell for another $1,000. All right, so that's easy. So let's go to this right-hand column here. So we've got the totals here. Now this is for the month and this is for lifetime, which is really important to track if you're having a bad month or a bad 2 months. This is going to be where you're going to look at. So let's go through this. So total cash collected, $2,000. Revenue, $2,000. We sold 2 people, 2 units, right? It took us 7 calls. We made 6 offers. So out of the 6 offers we made, we closed 2, which means call to deal ratio. So total calls, right, to how many deals? 29%. So for you, this should always be above around that 25%. 29% is pretty good. Offers, not so good. That's 29%. Now the offers, I'm not too sure what's happening. I think I might just need to refresh this because it's not correct. But basically, this is the total offers made. How many of the calls resulted in you offering your service? Now, it should be above 50%. 29% is too low. It means you're being too picky, and it means you're obviously not qualifying these people enough if it's below 50%. Now, lifetime, it's not going to adjust that much, but you're going to notice it's going to automatically calculate. So if we go to March, for example, 1 call, 1 offer, 1 close, $1,500 deal. All right, we've got the next day, right, March the 2nd, we've got 2 calls, no offers made, no closes, and that's it. All right, so we've got total revenue, units sold, 3 calls, 1 offer, 33% call to deal ratio. All right, because we've got 3 calls, 1 sale, and then 100% of the offers that we made were closed. All right, so then we've got more of an updated lifetime value here from the 2 months, from February and March. As you can see, 3 units sold, 10 calls, offers made, 30% close rate from calls to deal ratio, and the offers is 38%. All right, which isn't horrible, but again, we can pump that number up. And then you just go through, right? Start filling this in, okay? And over time, you're going to see what your close ratio is and what the lifetime is over, 3 months, 6 month, and a 12-month period. So it's really important that you track your calls and kind of what the result was after each call, so you understand what you can improve on, because sales is a numbers game and it's all statistics and it's all percentages. These are the main percentages that you need to know. How much cash did you collect? What the revenue was? How many people did you sell? Units sold? How many calls? How many offers? The call to deal ratio. So for example, for Agency Academy right now, I know that everyone who books a call, I will close about 28 to 29% of all total calls, including no-shows, including people that are like everything. If 100 people book a call, I'm going to close 28 or 29 of them. All right, so that's what that means. And that number is really what matters. That is the number that really matters. And then you obviously got your offer, and it's the exact same here. So hopefully that clears everything up. Go ahead, make a copy, track this for yourself, and really use this religiously. Communication and retention. I think the reason I kind of skipped over this was because I didn't do a very good job at this for a very long time in my agency. I made all the mistakes that I'm going to warn you about in this section of the free course, so you don't fall into the same trap. Most agencies, including mine, the communication with clients is horrible. I mean, utterly appalling. I thought it was okay for clients to message me on Facebook or text me or call me whenever they had an issue and wanted to chat, and thought by allowing that and answering those questions that my retention would be higher. That wasn't the case. Actually, they took advantage of that and I lost clients. Why? Because of the lack of respect and boundaries. Trust me, if you allow this and you allow the disrespect, then your clients will boss you around, control you, then leave. You want your personal life and business life separate. That means you should have one communication platform. I use WhatsApp because it's easy and I find it less confusing for clients compared to, say, Slack. Now, you can use what you like, and I would say Slack is the most common. However, the reason I didn't use it was because if you're in a niche like real estate, then they have so much going on already and they just don't want to learn another platform. Same with trades. If you work with tradesmen, some barely even know how to use social media, let alone Slack. So just keep it simple and streamlined, but like I said, the choice is completely yours. So you may be a bit like me. When I was early on in my agency, I hated check-in calls. I just didn't see the point. However, it's extremely important just for the face-to-face aspect. So here's how I operate now. Please note it does depend on the client. Now, I've worked with clients who love check-in calls and want one every single week, and some just want it monthly. But this is what I do for a typical client. And a quick note, as you grow and learn and sign clients, the process will as well. So it's not set in concrete. It's one of those things you have to do what's right for you. First month, it's a weekly call. Then from there, it goes to every fortnight or bi-weekly. Now look, if your client still wants a weekly call, then just do it. Again, it isn't like a rigid plan. Once a week, I'm gonna do a quick 1 to 2 minute Loom video going through the results for that previous week, updating the client for the week ahead as well. Like I said before, you've got to see what the client wants here. And if they want weekly calls, just do it. A 15 to 20 minute check-in call once a week in the long run is nothing, but it can save you from losing that client and help you build so much more trust with them. Whether you have 5 clients, 10 clients, or 30 clients, it really won't take much time. I understand it can be daunting and you may feel like it's just going to drain your energy. I've been there. I don't like it either, but something I always think about is if you can't give the time for this important task, don't be in business. After all, we're in a service-based business here, which means we have to talk to people. Trust me when I tell you, having these calls can be the difference between a good and bad working relationship. The Loom videos are also very important because you're giving a consistent update on what's happening, and it means a lot to them, even though it may only take around 5 minutes to put together. When I was starting out my agency journey, I'd only really talk to my clients once a month, and I believe that's why my retention was so bad, because I just simply didn't let them know what was going on with their campaigns. Or worse yet, they would message me wondering what's happening. You never want a client to message you wondering what is happening with a campaign. They feel totally in the dark, and that's where problems occur. If anything, you want to over communicate with them. I believed that if I was getting them results, then who cares about keeping them updated? Why would they complain if things are going well? And that's completely the wrong attitude to have. The way you communicate with your team and clients really matter, and it shows what type of agency you have. It's part of our job, and you also need to set expectations with response times and let them know maybe it's a 24-hour response time and you'll probably get back to them before that. But worst case, it might be 24-hour window. Most clients are going to be okay with this because they understand that you're running a business. If, however, a client doesn't like it, isn't respectful on how you do things, it's probably not a good fit anyway. You can give them a warning and be nice about it, but if it happens a few times, then it's time to let them go. You aren't here to be run over. It's not worth the headaches they cause, so move on, part ways, find another client that will respect how you operate your agency. For me personally, voice messages are amazing. I send them all the time because they can hear you, they can hear your tonality, and they can feel more at ease. And it's just a better way to communicate rather than text message. I know some people hate them, but I prefer that rather than text. So again, it is completely up to you. The way you communicate is a direct result on how long your client will stay with you. The better you communicate, the longer your client will be with you. Always remember that, but it needs to be on your terms and it needs to be laid out from the beginning in the onboarding section. Otherwise, if you give in to them, it'll actually do you more harm than good. So remember, as a guiding principle, you want to be doing 1 call a week to begin with for the first month because everything will be new to them. Then they're going to be nervous, excited, and anxious. Keep them calm and happy about pulling the trigger to work with you. Then, if you both agree, move it into bi-weekly calls in the second month. You want to do what's best for the client here. So if they want weekly calls, keep doing it. If they want bi-weekly, make it happen. And if they only want monthly, then do it. This whole part of the program is going to go into detail on how to set up campaigns from start to finish. And I'm going to be giving you examples from different niches, which I think you'll find helpful. I've said it time and time again, but once you understand the fundamentals of lead generation, you'll be able to apply it to any industry. So today, that's what I'm going to be taking you through. Different ways you can generate leads for your clients. Now, this will not apply for everyone, but I want you to understand the different options you have to generate leads for your clients. So when I talk about funnels, all I'm referring to is the customer journey from lead to customer. You can see from this photo that it gets narrower as we go down, and that's because we're only trying to go after these people here at the bottom of the funnel. But to get them, we need to cast our net. As you go down, more people will drop off. It's like joining a course, right? You might have seen someone on YouTube, which is awareness, you'll watch 1 or 2 videos, and then you might reach out and get on a call, and then there you go, you're inside the program. If I just simply told you the price, or someone just told you the price without building any of that know, like, and trust, you wouldn't join. That's what we are doing with these leads, trying to qualify them for your client. So they're only speaking with people who are actually interested in their service. So this is the first stage, awareness. It's people that might see you on social media, they consume some of your content, but they haven't taken any action yet. The next phase is where you might subscribe or actually become a follower. And then we have leads and finally customers. This is also why we target one niche with one offer, because as you work with more clients, you're going to understand the numbers behind what you're doing for current clients, which means you can go on sales calls and you're able to discuss what other clients are getting. And it's easy to just set this up for any new clients that come on board. It's essentially copy and paste. In the upcoming trainings, what I'm going to be doing I'm going to be actually giving you proven ads for different industries that are working right now. So the first one and most important one, which we've discussed before, is Facebook lead forms. This is my personal favorite and I swear by it. It's also the easiest to set up for clients and it won't take you a long time. The only drawback is it's more volume based, right? As sometimes the quality of leads isn't that great. The next one is also one of my favorites, is sending a message. I won't break this down into complete detail, but unlike a lead form, you can actually pre-qualify it and warm the prospects up through message conversation. You can set up this to be automated sequences with specific questions to your audience before asking for their contact details. The numbers behind this method are insane. I'm talking around 80 to 90% open rates. The one drawback is you have no ability to automatically follow up or organize leads. That has to be done manually unless you use ManyChat. The next one is a squeeze page. This is a simple lead magnet for a potential lead to give their contact details in exchange for something. This could be a free suburb property report. It could be 5 mistakes first home buyers make. It could be 5 ways dental implants change your life. Put simply, you're usually giving away a free guide, ebook, or PDF, something enticing for potential prospects to download, and it also has to be relevant to that industry. It's typically a 2-page process, a short video or copy with a bold headline. The key is the right headline to capture attention straight away. Think about when you're shopping online and you see the pop-up giving you 10 or 20% off if you sign up to the newsletter. This is also a very common lead generation method for agency owners, offering free audits, sharing PDFs such as 5 killer ads to generate you more leads in 2024, and so on. You get the gist, right? My personal favorite way to generate leads is through offering a free quote or something along those lines, depending on what industry you are in. If you're targeting local plumbers, electricians, trades, for their lead generation, all I do is offer a free quote. If it's real estate, then you can do a free appraisal. Dentist might be a free teeth clean, and so on and so forth. There's a love-hate relationship at times between agencies and clients. The reason is so many agencies will just generate them leads, pass them off, and think the job is done. That's not the case. You need to be involved in the process as well to make sure the leads are quality. They're converting, and see how you can be consistently improving the overall process. Sometimes you're going to get leads through that aren't qualified for the service, and others will submit fake information. But that's just part of what lead generation is. The beauty about lead generation is you'll know very quickly what works and what doesn't. If you've spent $150 with no leads, then don't just wait for things to work, because they won't. It's time to make some changes. It's why I love lead generation, because once it works, it works. You can scale quickly and generate as many leads as you want. There is no cap on it. And when you're getting leads, the most important thing is to remember what you're offering to that prospect. No matter how good the copy or landing page is, if they don't want it or care about it enough, then you're not going to get leads. Now, there are many different data points within the Ads Manager, and most of it is complete garbage. In this video though, I'm gonna actually take you through some different options we have available to us as digital marketers and what actually is important to us. Our ultimate goal is to generate the most customers and leads with the least amount of effort. That's it. It's really that simple, yet a lot of marketers now, and most people you see, love to complicate the process. Now, granted, there are so many different options and strategies, it's kind of unlimited and it can be complex, but for lead generation specifically, it doesn't have to be. We don't need all the fancy techniques and strategies. If you do e-com marketing, then sure, it's going to be a lot more complex and detail orientated, but that's not something I'm focusing on with this course. When I first started out, I really had no idea what I was doing. I jumped into Facebook group, message marketers, even Google search what to actually do, and then just create campaigns based on that information. Lead generation marketing in general is all about this, and please write this down so you never forget it. This should be etched in your brain for eternity. What's going to make the most money and what is going to take the least amount of time and effort to do it? That's all we're doing. It doesn't get more simple and straightforward than that. As marketers and agency owners, we often feel overwhelmed with just how much data we have available to us inside Facebook's Ads Manager, and 95% of it means nothing. It's just useless garbage to us. I'm telling you now, I don't know much outside what I actually need to know. I'm not in e-commerce where I need to create some elaborate strategy to see results. I know lead generation for local businesses. Let me actually take you inside the ad account for a moment so you can see what we have. So we're inside the ad account now, and as you can see, there are so many different metrics that we have really available to us, and like I said, 99% of it is completely irrelevant. So if we have a look up here, it will give us a performance overview as default, but what we want to know is really in the performance and clicks section. Now, look, again, you can actually optimize this for what you like. You can do customization. You can customize your columns, and you can have what you want shown in here based on what you are kind of going for, right? So it does keep it quite simple. Now, look, at the end of the day, most of this is completely irrelevant. So frequency basically means sort of how many times people on average view and see the ad. So this is important, right? This is an important metric. Obviously, cost per result, cost per lead. Again, this is important, right? As we go here, you can see a range of different costs. Obviously, Australia is really expensive, and some country areas will show a very high number, right? But then others will show quite cheap leads. Okay, so it does vary, but essentially what is important is the frequency, the cost per result, the impressions, just sort of how many people seen it, cost per mil, right, is cost per 1,000 impressions. This is important, right? This is important. Anything over about $20 is kind of high. Again, my ad account showing in Australia, so it will be a little bit higher than, say, if you're in the US or the UK or in Europe in general. Link clicks don't matter too much. I mean, like, you can see here percentages, anything over a 1.5% click-through rate is good. 1.5 to 3% is considered pretty good, pretty high. Anything over 3% is extremely high. But again, these are all vanity metrics. At the end of the day, what are we looking for? Leads. If we're getting leads, but our click-through rate is low and we're profitable, does it really matter? Not really. Yeah, maybe we can optimize a little bit here and there, but at the end of the day, what we're looking for is the results, right? Cost per lead, cost per appointment, that's what's really important. Not these vanity metrics that, you have access to. Yes, they do play a role, given. I understand that. However, it is not the be all and end all. Now look, most of all of that I just showed you means zero to us. It's data that's not relevant. Jeremy Haynes, who's an incredible marketer, said this a few years ago. It's all about leverage. So if most of what's in Ads Manager means nothing, then the stuff that really does matters. We will use what's important as leverage. Our job is to understand what's important out of millions of different paths we can go down and what will bring in the most revenue for our business and for our clients. It's the same thing when you start an agency. You all know there's thousands of videos all saying different things, and to take this step, then that step, and then this step, and someone else comes across and says the complete opposite. We must filter out the process, and that's why you're watching this free course right now. You wanted an action plan to follow that's simple and will get you the results that you want. We don't need to complicate the process. Keep it simple and go after the low-hanging fruit. I don't do anything fancy. I don't complicate it. This is how I take the least amount of actions that are the easiest to do, which will make me the most money. It took me a year to learn this because I was always trying to learn the most complex, cool, crazy strategy and ways to get customers results. You need to learn how to filter this out in real time. You will find when you're on sales calls, you may hear clients talking about all the ways they've tried generating results and bringing in revenue, and that's when you need to understand, well, was it an action that takes the least amount of effort, or was it something that required a lot of effort? Maybe they've been running ads themselves and they've been using the same graphic and ad copy for 7 months. And in the beginning, the lead cost was $10. Now it's at $70. This can be something called ad fatigue, which means people are tired of seeing the same campaign. All you need to do to reduce that lead cost again is change out the graphic, tweak the copy. Maybe they have a large database of clients that they're trying to work out how to advertise to them at the end of it. As an agency owner, especially in lead generation, when someone says they spend 5 or 10 hours a day inside an ads manager, to me, it's total bullshit. If you are being effective, then you don't need to think about all these different options you have and what you can do. It's just a complete waste. You are only thinking about what gets me the best results for the least amount of time and effort. If there is one thing I want you to take away from this portion of the program, it's this. We have access to an unlimited amount of actions we can take, but there are probably 3 to 5 at any time that will actually get us the results that we want. Remember, we want to be as fast, efficient as possible and take actions that require the least amount of effort and maximize our return. Copywriting is often overlooked, yet it's one of the most important aspects of advertising. Throughout this video, you're going to find that I don't talk too much about targeting, and that's because the creatives and copy used are what sell the prospect, not the targeting. Copywriting is a skill learned over many years, and it's completely impossible for me to teach you all of it inside this free video. Because I'm going to put my hands up and I'm going to say I'm no master. Once we understand the basic principles, we'll be able to generate leads and appointments for clients, but I don't think we'll ever get to the level of mastery as other people have, and that's okay. When people hear about advertising and copywriting, they often think about David Ogilvy. After all, he's been the most influential ad man in the 20th century, having built the world's most successful and largest advertising agency back in 1950, in which he sold it in the mid-1980s for $870 million. He set the standard for direct response marketing, but there was a man before Ogilvy that doesn't get as much recognition, yet the principle of copywriting we use to this day, some 100 years on, were created and formed by a man named Claude Hopkins. The concepts we use today came from Claude Hopkins. He was Ogilvy's mentor, and Ogilvy even says nobody should have anything to do with advertising until you have read this book, Scientific Advertising, by Hopkins, at least 7 times, because it's changed the course of my life. Hopkins was hired as a copywriter by one of the largest ad agencies at the time with a starting salary of $185,000 in 1907, which, adjusting for inflation, is about $6 million today. He believed that researching the buyer and getting in the head of the consumer was key to selling, and he was the first person to offer free samples of products, and one of the most popular and well-known brands was for a toothpaste company. Before this time, brushing your teeth daily wasn't a thing. Hopkins' advertising made brushing your teeth a normal daily activity. So we can thank Hopkins for all of our great teeth. I think as marketers and agency owners, we need to understand where what we learn comes from. The framework we use for direct response marketing, which I'll share with you shortly, comes from Hopkins, which was developed in the early 1920s. Hopkins was ahead of his time. Everything we do now, split testing, order tracking, scientific market research, is credit to him. Now in 2024, 100 years after Hopkins, we have access to all this data with just a few clicks of a button. We can track and measure each detail. Although Hopkins made what most consider a lot of money, he never gained the recognition like Ogilvy did or get as rich as he did. Instead, Hopkins was the pioneer, the godfather, and the one who created what we still use today, but didn't see the financial rewards as others after him. And if you read his autobiography, that's the one thing he resented in the end. He made others rich, but not himself. When we talk about testing different campaigns, it was Hopkins who invented this. After conducting market research for a soap company known today as Palmolive, I'm sure you use it at home. It was originally designed to be a laundry detergent, but Hopkins went to the company's CEO and persuaded them to create Palmolive soap for people. Hopkins believed the ad campaign shouldn't focus on soap cleaning your body, but rather Palmolive would lead to softer, clearer skin and increased beauty. Now at the time, executives were not convinced, so they ran a test campaign and split tested it to see which one worked better. This is how Palmolive soap became a household name. They collected data, ran test after test, put out coupon codes for discount, which was another invention of Hopkins. He was the first one to use offers and was, at the time, the most successful ad man in the world. I mean, everything we know about advertising was created by him and it's still used today. So what is the structure and framework we should use when creating ads for clients and even ourselves? Firstly, we have our headline. This is the most important part of any advertising campaign. 8 out of 10 people will read your headline. However, only 20% will read the body copy. So you could have the best body copy in the world, but if your headline isn't captivating, then you're not going to get customers. The headline grabs the consumer by the throat. It must demand attention, build interest and intrigue. So here's some techniques and ways for you to build a captivating headline. Firstly, urgency. We have spoken about this before, but applying urgency will make your customers feel like they need to take action now or they're going to miss out. We all suffer from FOMO. The next thing is scarcity, limited time offers and all of that. You must address your target customer head on. People are more likely to move towards pleasure than avoid pain, so use that. Your headline should be specific to a group of people. Don't make it too broad. If you are targeting men who are 50, then call them out. If you're targeting housewives, then address them. Hopkins says, don't think of people in the mass. That gives you a blurred view. Think of a typical individual, man or woman, who is likely to want what you sell. So you can use these components to create headlines for yourself and clients, which is number, objective, keyword, rationale, and promise. So you'll see at times people use numbers in their headline, and often they're odd numbers. It's just a psychological thing. I'm not sure the term, but it stands out more than even numbers. Why 7 out of 10 women won't return your texts, or how entrepreneurs are saving 3 minutes and 59 seconds each day. You have to be clear on what this is about. As Hopkins says, people are in a hurry, and that is more true now than ever. You have only a couple of seconds to capture their attention on Facebook, so do something to stand out. How to burn off body fat hour by hour, or amazing new formula from Beverly Hills lets you look years younger. 27 things you must know before hiring an agency. 13 things no financial planner will tell you. Shocking report reveals 3 things you must know in whatever niche. You see this in magazines a lot. Headlines always read revealed, shocking, secrets, etc. because it's intriguing and we must know what it's about. You'll see this commonly on downloadable reports or PDF guides. 7 alarming things you must know before hiring a personal trainer. Number 5 will blow your mind. For a more specific example that you might click would be how to generate 97 leads in under 7 minutes using Facebook. So now we've touched on the headline, let's talk about the rest of the ad. Keep in mind the formula isn't set in stone, but when you're stuck, it's very easy to just come back to this because it just works. Firstly, we have our hook, which is our headline, and that can also be our offer. Next, we have the benefit and the pain. Remember, people are more likely to move towards pleasure than avoid pain. It's like when we sell Facebook ads. That's the vehicle, but people don't care about that. They just care about the result, which is the benefit. Next is your offer. What it is that you do, why are you different, right? A classic example of this is just comparison. Have a look at this ad here. On one side, we have the competition and then the company, and it shows the clear benefits of using them and makes a clear point of difference. Next, we have scarcity, which can be limited time offers, discounts, and all of that. And finally, we have our call to action, which could be booking in a call, consultation, downloading the PDF, or claiming the coupon. Don't overcomplicate the ads you put out for both yourself and clients. If you use this simple framework, you'll make your clients more money, and if you decide to run ads for yourself, you'll get leads and new customers for your business. I would recommend studying David Ogilvy's ads and also Claude Hopkins' ads. They're easy to find online and even read their books. Copywriting takes time to master, but this simple framework I've just gone through in this part of the course will give you the basic tools you need to drive sales into the business. In this training, I'm going to be actually diving into the ad account. I'm not going to waste any more time and setting up an ad for a local business. So let's get started. All right, so we're inside the ads manager right now, and what I'm going to start doing is set up a couple of different ads so you can see exactly what we're doing and how we do it. It is very, very simple, guys, so let's just get right into it. So this is the first thing that you're going to see once you've opened up your ad account. We're going to click the big green button, create, here. Now, this is where we're going to see all of our objectives, and what we're going to be doing for the purpose of this video is leads. So we're going to click on leads and click continue. From here, it's going to allow us to name our campaigns. For this, I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to keep going with the process, but you can name them whatever you like. Keep it as auction, keep it as leads, click next. All right, so I'm going to do instant forms here, okay? And here we're going to select our Facebook page that we're going to use. I'm just going to do the example on property inspections group. Okay, here we can set our daily budget. You can do this with whatever you want, right? Depending on what the client wants and needs. $10, $20, $50, $100. Let's just do $15 per day. Now here is where we're going to do our location. So let me just do Australia just so you guys can get an idea here. Let's go Brisbane, for example. 25-mile radius. We're going to want to do smaller than that, and I'm actually going to drop a pin. So the reason, and I'll tell you the reason in a second. Let's go Holland Park and a 3-mile radius around Holland Park. Okay. Actually, let's do 6. Oh, not 16. Let's do 6. Okay. Now for this one, we're going to do 20 years old to 45. And this is going to be a mortgage lead generation campaign. So people looking to buy their first home. So 20 to 45 years old, all genders, demographic, I leave completely open. And then we can go next. Okay, next. Here we go. So you can choose to do this ahead of time or you can do it live. I've done it ahead of time, so let me just upload everything here. Let's do, here we go. Next. And obviously you want to size this correctly. I have not done that. And obviously you want to make sure that it is the correct size. I'm going to go done. All right, here we go. Primary text, headline, description. Okay, so head on over to where your copy is. You may have repaste. Make sure it's all formatted correctly. And this is not meant to be there. This is meant to be the headline. Learn more. Now your Facebook page will be for property or carpet cleaning, whatever the industry is. This is just as an example, guys. Now let's create a lead form. more volume. If I can spell. And this can be whatever you want, all right? Questions, I always like to, questions, I always like to make it name, email, and phone number. And then obviously we got our privacy policy and our website that you'll be able to link. And if you don't have a website, or if they don't have a website, you can simply just link their Facebook page. And that is how we run an ad for a mortgage broker. Would then click publish. This exact ad generated me 18 leads at $1.12 per lead. That's Australian, so it's about 85 US cents per lead. So you can see how simple it is, very easy to set up. Again, we can name our campaigns, we'd click publish, within 24 hours it would be approved and they would start running. All right, let's move along to the next campaign. So in this one, we're gonna actually do a carpet cleaning ad. All right, so we're gonna go click leads again. Remember, we're not gonna name them. You don't need to worry about the campaign budget. You can just click next. We're going to go instant forms. Remember to select your Facebook page. Daily budget, let's leave it at 20. Now let's do a different area. So let's go Melbourne, still in Australia, for example. So we got Melbourne Road here, but I'm going to pick a suburb and I'm just going to go Toorak, for example. Nice, wealthy area in Melbourne. Actually, the most wealthy area in the city. Let's do a 5-mile radius, right? So since it is a local business, this carpet cleaner and this cleaner in general may not want to travel to the outer areas. And this is something that you discuss with your client beforehand. So we're going to obviously want to be targeting homeowners. So let's say 25 years and up, and then we're going to click next. And let's show you what I've created before. Super simple. Let's upload. Here's a carpet cleaning ad. Classic before and after, works extremely well. Now we're going to do original. Click next. Done. Perfect. Fantastic. See how simple this is? Let's copy and paste our copy. Primary text. Here we go. You can add emojis if you desire. I do like to. All right. And then this is going to be our headlines. We can get rid of that there. Free quote today. Get quote. And again, the lead form would be exactly the same. Carpet cleaning, more volume, intro, we'll use that. And then obviously you'll be able to add your questions, name, email, phone number. You can even add property address. I don't think you need to though, it's not really relevant. Again, privacy policy, website or Facebook page, publish, done. That is how we run a carpet cleaning ad for a cleaner. And this is as simple as it needs to be. You can obviously change this up, and this could be 5-star reviews with like the star emojis, whatever you like, guys. This doesn't need to be this doesn't need to be super complicated, okay? This is all it needs to be, and this will generate leads for under $5. I've run very similar campaigns before. Okay, now moving on to our last ad, which is still in the cleaning niche, and we're gonna do upholstery. So think couches. Okay, so we're gonna do leads again. Now we're going to do instant forms, $20 budget. Maybe we do a different area, right? Let's say, okay, let's do this. I don't know this area well. Just drop a pin. Again, maybe this cleaner doesn't want to travel too far, just in the local Moray and surrounding suburbs area, 5 miles. Let's say 25 to 65 years old. We're going to do demographics, leave completely open. We're going to go add media. We're going to go this graphic here. While this loads, we're going to click next, done. All right, so now we're going to copy and paste our copy. Maybe add some emojis here. Do you see how simple this is, guys? You don't need to overcomplicate this. This is all it needs to be, and I can guarantee that you'll get leads for under $5 with these sort of campaigns. Guaranteed. It really doesn't need to be complicated. Maybe a tick. You can test out a few different things here. Get quote. And again, we'll go through the exact same process with the lead form. As you can see, this is how we set up campaigns for lead generation and lead generation and get local businesses leads. So you can apply this to any single niche. This is just written off the fly. It took me about 10 seconds to write. It's ugly, but it will generate leads. You can obviously spend a little bit more time, but this is just an example for this video. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some offers that you could start implementing for your clients to get leads and customers on autopilot. Lead generation is incredibly simple, and I've said this before, once you understand the basic concepts, you'll be able to go into any industry and get results very easily. The basics work. Keep things simple. There is no need to get fancy and complicate the process. Just like we went through with the copywriting previously, Claude Hopkins was the first person to actually offer free samples to products, which was over 100 years ago. As marketers and agency owners, we need to help incentivize our clients' customers to come into the store, book an appointment, and become a customer, right? We do this by direct response marketing. So if you look around, you'll actually notice offers being made to you all the time. On TV, on local buses driving around, in shopping centers, on social media. We can't escape this. And the same principles around what works from 150 years ago still remain true today. Even more so now, because we can actually track each individual part of the customer journey and actually measure its success and optimize it within minutes. So there's 3 classic ways to incentivize your customers, and I'm going to be taking you through that now. First is a free quote or an estimate or appraisal in that niche. So this can be applied to real estate agents. They want to find people who are looking to sell their house, and you can do this by offering a free appraisal on what their home is worth. It can also be applied for the trades niches. So think concreters, landscapers, pest controllers, contractors, maybe even luxury watch dealers, car dealerships who buy used cars and someone wants to find out what they could trade in for. I'm just thinking out loud now, but they've expressed interest in the service offered, and this is a great way to get leads into the client's businesses. Now, of course, not all of these are going to convert. A lot of people just want a price guide and to understand what their home is worth or how much the service actually is, right? But we can nurture them and follow up with them because they may not pull the trigger today. But in 3 months' time, could be a different story. The people who request a free quote are looking for the service at some point, right? So this gives the client an opening to build a relationship with them and win the job. The next option is a free consultation. Think about how many times we've seen this. It's common and can be applied to cosmetic surgeons, dentists, lawyers, orthodontists, therapists, and so many more industries. Now, the key here is to make sure that the consultation has a set time frame, maybe 15 or 30 minutes. You'll also need to emphasize the value of this service. So for a cosmetic surgeon, for example, the consultation might be worth $250 to $500. I'm not exactly sure on the figures, but it's important the prospects understand the value that they're getting. When you offer a free consultation, it's important you're also specific as to what they're getting and the benefits they're going to receive from it. You can also apply some urgency to this and have a limited number of consultations offered each month. This way, it's more like a claim your session now before it's too late. We have 15 consultation spots left for this month. And if you do use some urgency like this, actually mean it. Don't use it as a gimmick. I'm sure you've seen it on a lot of people's funnels and landing page, a fake countdown timer. And it's like, dude, we know it's not legit. People aren't stupid. The next offer is a discount. This could be a percentage off. It could be the exact dollar amount. You see this every day. And if you've gone shopping recently, this is what you'll find everywhere. I'm a sucker for a good deal, and I'm sure you are too. This can be used for virtually any service-based business. Maybe it's teeth whitening that usually costs $1.99, but for the next 10 people, they'll get a special deal of just $99. This applies for solar businesses, car detailing, cosmetic businesses, med spas, and so many more. You can take it a step further and also offer an exclusive discount code and offer it to existing customers and do an reactivation campaign. A lot of businesses will have a CRM with all their current and former clients, but they're not sending out offers to them. So what you can do is just a simple email or text message blast, upload that list to Facebook, run a campaign specifically for these people, and it can be a loyalty offer where you reward existing customers, and you can get really creative with this. Vouchers, gift cards, birthday specials, Christmas specials can be used. Valentine's Day, whatever it is, you can add some scarcity as well. $200 off, insert offer, what it is, limited to the next 9 people. These 3 types of incentive-based offers are all you need to get results for your clients and bring them customers. You'll find a lot of businesses already use these type of offers but don't get booked out because they promote them on Groupon, Yellow Pages, and sites that don't give you the best results. By using these on Facebook, you're going to be able to get leads and ultimately bookings for your clients very quickly and efficiently. We then have the ability to follow up and retarget the ones who didn't claim the offer by running a simple retargeting campaign. Whether people go on Facebook or not to buy something or inquire is completely irrelevant. There is a group of people that are always in need of a service, and billions of people use Facebook every single day. Just because you might not inquire about it doesn't mean other people won't. Now, as a last resort, if you get stuck, you can always go to the Facebook ads library, which I've already gone through in this training previously, and actually look at what the competition are running and see what other people in the industry are promoting. Lead generation is all about testing different offers and then doubling down on what works. As you get more experience, you'll understand what works, where it works, and your costs down to the dollar, and you'll have a handful of proven campaigns that work. So you can just copy and paste it for every single client. Now look, this training has been a couple of hours long. I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. I hope you have all enjoyed it. If you do want help one-on-one, I'll give you a free 30-minute consultation call. It will be in the first link in the description. Please leave a like, comment, and also subscribe. I want this to reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.